Play that needs to be fixed or their fucking HUDs and their UI. Dude, no lie, I read in my review one of the sections and they're like soft word, verb, long word, soft word. And soft word, what I mean by that is there's nothing catchy. ACG is catchy, but if you were like ambiance, that's a soft word, right? And there's this part in here where they're like, to get essences for the upgrades of your special powers, you can extract the, and you're just like, okay, what? You have to read it like 6 times, and then in a different section, they actually switch the word to something else. So
it's wild. That's why if I ever make a game, I want to make sure that the tutorial is as seamless as possible, because you can really like take a system that doesn't need explanation and make someone feel like they're missing something.
Dude, that's the way I felt. Yeah.
I tried to put in review requests for Nier Replicant and Returnal. Not really liking my odds here, Carrick. It doesn't seem like they're going out early. I saw Scale Up tweet about it, saying like, you know, please stop treating influencers like, you know, we're on this, you must pay us for our opinion list. Like, we just want to take the game for free, review it. In our case, you and I, we pay for our copies afterwards. But, you know, there's this weird disparity between media and YouTube outlets, and it's really starting to come to a bubble here. Or a boil, rather. I don't remember what the term actually is, to be honest. But
coming to a boil.
Boil, thank you. Yeah. Why did I say bubble?
I don't know, but coming to a bubble would be
up.
the same thing, like a blister. It's bubbling up. Yes, you're absolutely right.
There we go. All right, sure. We'll take it.
It's bubbling up into a soft boil, Maddie. Mix them. Mix and match, baby.
Yeah. It's coming to a boil, though, where people are starting to get tired of it because, you know, it's not even about being entitled to access. It's like, well, we could have had access, but we lost out on an opportunity because of the group we were thrown in and by the internal language of companies. It's starting to get really, really noticeable. And we're seeing these outlets like a Rainmaker or whatever, like just handing out codes day and date. And I hate to say it, but like for our type of content, day and date sometimes doesn't do the trick. It just doesn't, right? Like, very rarely a game where you can get that same traction, like a Cyberpunk, you can get that weeks later, right? But very few and far between.
I think
that you can get a game like that.
While we still get different dates sometimes, what actually bothers me more, I'm okay with being like, if I'm just like not gonna get it or till day one, like that doesn't bother me. That's why I usually won't respond. What I don't like is when 3 people have it and they have different times, which strangely enough is something that I'm gonna start the podcast already with this. Somebody's gonna get mad. But that's something that back 3 years ago when I was telling you about Bethesda going to 0-day reviews, one of the things that leaker had stated was that you were gonna see alternating times in the same review code. As in, you get a code, I get a code. Enough is something that I'm gonna start the podcast already with this. Somebody's gonna get mad. But that's something that back 3 years ago when I was telling you about Bethesda going to 0-day reviews, one of the things that leaker had stated was that you were gonna see alternating times in the same review code. As in, you get a code, I get a code, but because I'm tier 1, I get to release a video that you would release, by the way, and maybe do a better job. You have to release it a day later. And I get it. I think companies want the long tail of views, but dude, to me, you and I've never felt, not once, that you stole a view from me, that I stole a view from you, or that we stole a view from IGN. Like, well, maybe IGN because some people may like YouTubers, but you know what I mean? Like, that's such a, it's such a broken way of doing things. Like, I can never really get it.
Yeah,
I never really understand.
I think a lot of people haven't come around to the idea yet that I said this last episode with some other topic, but high tide raises all ships.
Yeah.
So
I think so.
If I've typically noticed if my review is doing well, yours is really surging as well. It's like there's a collected interest.
Yeah, because, dude, what does it say? Well, because we do a lot of content together. It literally states suggested video, and it'll be your video. So to me, if I'm getting viewed, then it's just one more spot where you could get viewed. If you're getting viewed, it's one more spot I could get viewed. Again, we don't know the company specifics, but I think, especially with Game Pass, things have really gotten weird. Because I do cost, right? Which is different than a lot of people where it's like buy, wait for sale, rent, Game Pass. You have to figure out how you're going to do that. where I think some companies look at that and are like, we don't want to worry about him saying don't get it. Like, so there's that too. There's a lot of different ways to get games. The subscription model's going crazy, man. It's definitely impacting us.
Yeah, like for Outriders, it makes sense why they'd hold on to it. Like I can totally see the reason
Think
why.
so? I was mad about that.
Oh, I was too. Don't get me wrong. It's not like my understanding is a substitute for just being okay with it. It's just like I know why. For something like Nier, which is getting zero buzz, this might just be my ignorance showing, but I don't know why you don't fork out a couple extra codes and get people talking about it. No one's talking about Nier, and that game looks fucking awesome. So it's really, really kind of bizarre.
Because you and I definitely have had different experiences, different games. I don't remember what your experience with Control was, but mine was certainly different than other people's. Cyberpunk, I got left completely in the cold until then they wanted me to, and by then I was like, fuck you, man. I have no clue what's happening. I'm not touching that game. So do you think, though, that it's also just like... I think there's just confusion on a lot. I mean, it's obvious that not everybody gets together and makes the same decision, and so we're seeing these odd decisions. I'm just wondering sometimes if they're also not. Reviews seem a little different these days. It seems like reviews don't do as well. I've talked to multiple reviewers. I mean, pretty much every big reviewer you see, I've talked to at least once or twice about how their videos are doing. They might get good views from their subs. But reviews in particular this year and the end of last year stopped getting subscribers. So, and I noticed that, like, I think that was September. And what I mean is my number of subscribers I was accustomed to when seeing. I would see something, go, okay, blah, blah, blah. But other videos I did would do just as many it was just the word review. And I was thinking, do you think it's maybe like there's a metric thing with YouTube and these companies like previews work better?
Yeah, I think previews do work better because
Softer.
a lot of people like the media. Yeah, it's softer. I think people like the media blackout sort of thing. Like, okay, I've seen enough. Like, a lot of people were doing that with Cyberpunk as someone who covered it a lot. A lot of people were like, I saw the previews, that's enough. I'm going in dark now. And I get that, and I think companies want that more than anyone. They want you to go in blindly. They want you to buy in as soon as possible.
I do want to tell people, if you're listening to us, man, still jump in. I was talking to somebody yesterday, and they're like, I don't know if I should start. And I'm like, dude, you're already too late. Don't say you don't know. You should be saying you don't know while recording yourself doing it. Like, it's now, man. It's now. It's the biggest gaming. It is the biggest gaming time. So if you're thinking of covering something, if you want to cover anything, start a podcast. I was telling the guys in Discord for Colin. They were in one of them. I think it was Edwin and a couple others, and they were talking about starting a podcast. I'm like, dude, don't hesitate. Don't. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. It could turn into something, and now's the time to get your coverage out there. Well, you know what, Maddie? You just do your review. You'll get your coverage, and then do whatever your good view. Like, I'll see a video pop from you every 13 minutes, it feels like. So you'll outdo me anyway, dude. Every time I check my email and then I get an alert from your Discord. I absolutely know what it is every time. It's never somebody pinging me. It's always Maddie is
Yeah. It's why I've had this desire to shift towards more original content, because I do feel like I pepper a lot, like I'm just constantly
moving around
throwing content. Yes, and I make sure it's quality. I'm proud of the quality I put there.
Definitely.
But I want to start moving into more of the, like, instead of waiting for news to drop and responding to it, or waiting for access for a game, like being able to take my own initiative and do something. I have two series in mind that I'll tell you about off here, and then I have some individual video ideas that are more original on top of my new stuff. It's like, I don't want to leave everything I do, but I'm starting to take that approach, because what's happening is I get, like, if I don't see news one day, I freeze. I'm like, what the fuck am I going to make a video on? It's like, I'm a creative guy. I just haven't embraced that side of myself as much, so I want to start doing that.
I think you're doing a great
more.
job on, like, the one that came out, it came out like 2 or 3 days ago, where you dressed up like a businessman in a part of it.
I do that a lot.
What? Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is true. It was after the Xbox one. Damn it.
I dressed up as a businessman to make fun of console wars.
Console wars. Yeah, console wars, of course.
Yeah.
What am I thinking?
Yeah,
that is for sure what it was. But
I pretended to be Phil Spencer and thank a fan for fighting a war in a Twitter thread.
That's amazing. But see, that right there is, like, that'll catch on, dude. It may take a little while, but I think stuff like that kind of stuff is not, I don't know. That to me is more difficult, I personally find, because I have a tendency to go skew really angry, and which is where the name, like, I'll just be like, I'm so stupid. You do a pretty good job of, like, you know, being Phil Spencer without it looking like Phil Spencer's just an angry dude on a hill somewhere, which is where I would come in. So you're doing well, man.
Overly
It's
sarcastic, so I can really just channel that into.
It works.
Yeah,
it never comes.
We both
across
do our own
mad.
thing, and I think we both do it well. It's just recognition. It's why we tell people to share stuff, not because we want clout or money. It's because if you don't share it, no one freaking hears about it. So,
well, it's like Colin. He posted that thing a couple days ago, which was awesome, where he was like, "No early games, nobody likes me, nobody." Which, admittedly, that wasn't necessarily true. A lot of people actually like Last Stand Media.
Yeah, we need to give Colin some e-hugs for sure.
Yeah, that was a little bit of the, like, we all do it, the pariah syndrome a little bit, like, no one likes me, I'm all alone. It's like, not so much, dude. It's like a Nickelback song, right? But he did post that, and I was laughing reading it, going, that is true. Like, what he wrote was like, no support, no games, and I was like, he's done spectacularly well with nothing more than podcasts. And I don't mean to say nothing more as in it doesn't matter. I just mean what other people don't succeed at, he's succeeded at with no help outside, which is pretty crazy. Like, it's, yeah. I mean, aside from the people who jumped in with him, but that was still him choosing.
Yeah, but he built it himself, right? Like, that's what's so admirable about it.
It's insane, man. It's insane. When I read that, I was like, whoa, because I was just sitting in bed and that tweet came up, and I was like, that's no lies detected, man. That's impressive as fuck. Okay, let's quit patting each other on the back. Let's move to something negative.
Yeah, let's get into gaming. We got actually a really rocking week here. I mean, this is a busy one, man. I mean, we got Nintendo, Xbox. We've got new Game Pass streaming options, Game Pass games being added. It's a fun week. So let's start off with some moral questions. We'll get into the news in a little bit. Starting off with Joey Hornreich. Hey, boys, because of your Ultimate podcast, I was finally compelled enough to give Gears Ultimate a try. I had a blast, to say the least, within the 6-hour campaign. The highlight, though, was that I played with my good friend who wanted to see me experience the franchise for the first time with the online co-op feature. My question for y'all is, why don't games, as of recently, implement this campaign co-op feature anymore? I really enjoyed myself, and I just feel like it's an amazing option. Looking forward to your podcast every week, and please do have an above mediocre day for me. We will, Joey. Now, yeah, we talk a lot on the show in general, Ham Radio and this, about this lacking of co-op and how developers have really stepped away from it for more of a shared world. I'm of the mindset we're going to see more co-op in this Series X and PS5 generation than we did last gen, just because developers have more resources to play with, where instead of going all in on ray tracing or something, you can say, like, let's have an extra player on the open world now, because we can afford to do that. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm hoping for and expecting. But why do you think so many developers have continued to step away from it? Is it because if you're going to do multiplayer, you may as well go all in on shared world and get that moolah in? You know, what is your interpretation of the co-op?
I think a lot of it just goes down to the tech, because when I was talking to the people who had done Halo, the idea was, okay, whenever we do multiplayer, we have to make sure that a game can't just draw a grenade. It has to draw 4 grenades. It has to be able to draw 4 people throwing a grenade in the same group of 16 people. Basically, your highest fill rate for your video possible. I think a lot of people, it's just technical. I will say, I don't necessarily agree that it's going away. I think it's moved to network, and games types themselves have changed. Not necessarily that if I see a game of that type, it doesn't have co-op. I feel that Gears makes sense for co-op, where some other single-player games, like a Max Payne, well, that doesn't make any sense for co-op to me. Like, that it doesn't fit narratively. I personally feel that they're pretty okay. What I don't think is okay is my brain screen. I have no clue what's happening. I apologize, people. It's completely lost its mind today. Anyway, I don't know. Do you feel that it's gone away, really? Or it just feels like those game types have gone away, if that makes sense.
It's why I really appreciated Outriders, although I can't. It's weird. Finally, I get this fun co-op game I like, and I can't convince anyone around me to fucking play it with me. I beat the game. We'll talk about it later this show, but I beat it, and I'm just like, I did it by myself. I had to do it on my own. Whatever. But you know, it seems like it's either shoot and loot or Diablo-style games that tend to have that cooperative element, and I feel like we're not seeing much else outside of that. Like, I can't really think of anything, and that's why I think it's gone, is because I struggle to think of some games that have co-op. There are plenty of games that have online and technically co-op. Like, you could say Division 2, right? You can hop into a shared world,
but it's that
together.
networked co-op. You know, versus
it's
the
not like a
same
Borderlands.
home field.
You hop into a world, you would do the story together and all that stuff. I miss those kinds of days quite often. The beat 'em ups, the co-op beat 'em ups. Like, we got a Streets of Rage 4, but what else outside of that could we say?
Streets of Rage 4 had story. Well, wait a minute. Did Battletoads? Or was that called Battle?
The new one?
Battletoads.
I never played the new one.
Dude, it was so bad, I barely even remember anything about that game. I played with somebody, but was it through Parsec or anyway? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It does seem like, I guess, it's going away. I just think that they want that in and out, and they don't think it can be done in co-op. They want the ability for you to be playing and for Carrick to jump in your game and then leave without affecting you. Where I think co-op games, you want the other player to affect you. Does that make sense? Like, story-wise, you're hoping that they affect you. And so the game developers don't know how to merge those.
I just remembered one of the best co-ops is Wasteland 3 and Divinity 2. Those are two excellent co-op games.
Yep.
Very reactive. And we'll be talking about Wasteland 3 in this show as well.
I know. I saw the news.
We willed it into
That's
existence,
very cool.
man. We did it.
Dude, we willed a lot of nothing. There's a lot of weird stuff that happened.
Don't even do it.
Something happened this morning to me too, and I was like, what the fuck? Whatever. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. Okay, I'll shut up. Go ahead. I'll keep my mouth
Hard
shut.
Frog is our second question. Howdy, boys. One more question. With the Days Gone writer telling people to buy games at full price, I've seen a lot of people backlash and say, how do I know I'm going to like this game until I if I could read it. How do I know I will like a game until I play it? This makes sense, but as someone who's bought hundreds of games, I've only had one that I didn't like. I was young. Maybe I'm just lucky or have some kind of gamer sense. Do you guys have this sense, or have you been wrong about any games? Cyberpunk will probably be brought up, but I'm quite confused how people didn't see that one coming. Same as Avengers. Cheers and stay sexy. So, what do you? I picked out this comment because I thought it was kind of fascinating. A little bit of a flex. I'm gonna turn on my brightness so I can read this because I kept stuttering that whole time. What do you make of what the Days Gone writer had said? Do you think he was correct in that if you want a sequel, you better buy it at full fucking price? I believe were his exact words. And are there more people like Hard Frog who have this clairvoyance guiding them to the promised land of video games and saying, like, this is the one that will be good and this will fail, so do ignore it? What do you make of some of those comments?
One of the reasons why I didn't go all in on the dude was because it's like when we say one comment and people run off with it. So it's like I got to listen to the entire thing before I really like hammer it. What I did hear though, it sounded a little bit like somebody who just, dude, this game, it was gone. It was pretty much gone. And then Sony's like, it was gone, and it had been gone, but years at this point. And suddenly, Sony's like, we're gonna bring it back, and that caused a lot of like the stirred up feelings. People have left, some people have distanced themselves, and then there was some questions. And his response sounded like somebody who really wanted to make another version of his game. It was dumb to say in whatever way he said it, but I'm not as like. I saw some people really going at it, man. And I was all, I'm not 100% sure that's, dude, and I stated this in a tweet. I'm like, man, when a podcast gets going, matter of fact, I stated it to one of your guys, because one of your guys was like, hey, you guys said this, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, man, like sometimes I just ask Maddie a question. it's not on the fucking list of stuff to talk about. Or he writes a topic I'm not really like 100%. We could just shut up and be like, I know nothing about this topic, or we give our opinions. So I don't know what happened in this podcast other than there's a heated dude who feels like for whatever reason Sony didn't support him, and maybe the sales had something to do with that. But at the same time, he said Metacritic, and that is on Sony. That's not on your gamers. So
Yeah.
it's a complex. I'll just say it's complex. I don't think too negatively of him. It was probably not the smartest thing to say without instantly, within 3.2 seconds, before people could tweet, you correct yourself and be like, what I mean is, but he didn't do that.
Yeah. I see. The thing is a lot of people went at him, and I don't think he's really wrong. Like, of course, with how game budgets are going up, yeah, you want as many people as humanly possible buying
Day one, right?
Day one, full price. That's what's optimal. One thing I learned from my chat with Mike, once again, I really do recommend those of you who are on the Patreon, go listen to it. One thing that we learned is that
Good, I'm just turning
pricing your games wisely. There it goes.
Sorry, I just turned it off. Anyway.
One thing that you'll learn is that some people price their games wisely because, and it's a little bit tougher in the AAA space, I will say that, but in the independent space, Mike was saying when he prices his games, typically he prices them a little bit higher because when you do it on a sale, you're not cutting yourself off at the knee so quickly.
Right.
And it makes it easier to make your money back and continue to profit even when it's on sale. So instead of $20, they do $25. They go a little bit past that.
This is
typical indie
Descenders,
price.
right? This is the guy who made
Descenders,
Okay.
yeah.
I played that game. It's a good game.
Yeah, it's on Game Pass for those who want to try it. But just hearing that at the same time as this, I just found it quite interesting. I do think it's an issue with Sony, though, where this almost obsession with perfection kind of plagued them a little bit, which, by the way, it's led to some really great games, but I think you should allow a company to continue to experiment even if they got like a 70 on Metacritic, because a lot of that was you, myself, the press. We got broken versions of Days Gone. Like, that's Sony's fault. So it's one of those situations where I don't know why Bend has to pay the price. So I don't really think what he said was entirely wrong. I think he came off brash about it, but I know some people can't afford a day one. I don't think it was an attack on that. And I know some people need to wait for sales. You and I both have wait for sales as ratings in our video. And what kind of sale? Like for me, I'll say wait for a sale. I'd say $40 or something like that. Like Days Gone would have been like a $30-bucker. And that's just about the quality of the product. So I get where he was coming from. It's just, I think if he was attached to, if anyone, like let's say Todd Howard or anyone who's released a series of quality games in their past that have gotten you more hours than you could have imagined for $60 said this, I think people would be more understanding. But because it came from a guy who directed or whatever Days Gone and kind of blabbed it out in the middle of it being in the heat of Sony PR movement, I don't think it went too well for him when it could have for pretty much anyone else.
Let me add a thought experiment to the people listening, too. If you're like a lot of us who think that scores routinely are a little higher than they should be, then you have to go with the fact that Days Gone score was a little higher than it should have been. Sony, internally, could have been looking at that internally thinking it was more of a 55 to 65 versus a 75. So what the Metacritic came out as, sorry, internally, I would have known that was a POS on delivery. I would have known. Like, I wouldn't have argued it if you were my boss and you were like, we're releasing this, I want to keep my job. I'm not going to walk off because it wouldn't stop the game from releasing. I'd be like, all right, well, then we need to prepare. You got to be the doomsayer, give out the data, and then move on. I think a lot of people need to embrace the fact that you can't have it both ways. And if you're of the opinion that routinely scores are higher, then you have to be the opinion Days Gone score might have been given some excess because it was Sony. And I felt that way because I was listening to some of the coverage.
For sure.
And I was like, dude, I don't know what they're... It's like listening to the medium's coverage, where I'm like, dude, we're in a completely different reality right now.
Man, we almost got there in an episode.
We did, didn't we? But it's not going to happen. But yeah,
No.
yeah. So shit people say is what that podcast should have been called. You say stuff, and you mean it, and you'd love to explain for another hour what you mean, and he didn't. He didn't clarify himself. You got to these days, man. If
You
everything's
really do.
a sound blurb, you got to be prepped right away.
That's why devs aren't oftentimes let on shows. And
Yeah.
why I was so
Oh, yeah.
surprised Mike joined ours. I was like, sweet, that's great news for us.
Yeah, because they're worried about one sound quip. They got to trust you too as
Yeah.
the host, which means that he trusts you. He must have seen your stuff. Sometimes they just.
That or he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, maybe that's
like, fuck it.
We'll go with that.
Number 3 comes from Zach Yearwood. This one's all you, my friend. Hey, Carrick, Oxenfree 2 is happening. You're not being fooled by multi-dimension beings. It's happening. Are you ready to talk about Oxenfree for every episode of Defining Duke leading up to launch? Because I'm ready. What are some things you would want to see improved upon in the upcoming follow-up? Hope you're having a trippy day. P.S. Maddie, hope you're also having a trippy day. And make it more trippy by trying out Genesis Noir on Game Pass. It's pretty wild. That game does look good. I'd like to try that out.
It is wild. I don't have
So
much to
I
say.
had no idea about this, but yeah, I saw it was like 6 days ago, and nothing. I'm
No.
so surprised. For those who don't know, Carrick and I, like every week, Carrick was like me with KOTOR, like Oxenfree this, Oxenfree, you gotta play Oxenfree.
Yeah.
So, is it just like a one and done? A one pump chump, if you will? Is that what you are for Oxenfree?
It's more like the second date went terribly with their other game.
Oh, so you don't like what you've seen so far?
Dude, their other game was not good.
Oh, the one in hell or whatever.
After
I forgot what
Party.
it was called. Oh,
After, yeah, and that was no. So I have distinctly lowered my expectations.
you're not gonna give her a second chance?
I will, but I won't give them the whatever of talking about them for hours. So, and I think that makes sense. The pattern isn't really a pattern. It's more one is great, one is not. To me, that's 50-50. So I'm not gonna stage too much energy on it. You know, if it comes out, that'll be great. I also think Oxenfree 2 is gonna be weird because Oxenfree I felt wrapped up, and I got burned by Life is Strange 2 as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, sequels that don't really make sense.
Yeah, they're almost like the name, and they try to capture. They almost go too far in one way. So we'll have to see. I mean, excited for it, but not really in love. Who knows, dude? If they just announced it, we're talking 2 years. I'm not gonna hold up my entire life with energy for 2 years for Oxenfree of all things.
I know, right? Yeah,
Takes
I
a-
was just shocked to see it even existed. I had no idea, because when I played it in Texas a couple of years ago, I thought it just wrapped up. And I went, all right, that was pretty good. It was pretty good, but not much more to say about that. Jake Williams is up next. Hey, Maddie and Carrick. E3 is right around the corner, and Xbox has confirmed it will make an appearance at the all-digital show. I feel as if for the past couple of E3s that Xbox has had some high expectations, but has yet to live up to many of them. Do you guys think this is the year where Xbox shows its hand and we can see all of the crazy stuff they have been working on, or will it just be another lukewarm E3 presentation? Thanks for the awful podcast. Bonus question, will Xbox hold their own event to show all of their stuff?
That's for sure.
Yeah, you
Xbox
think
always
it's gonna be separate almost?
Yeah, Xbox. Well, and they always do the one in Mexico. The like these. I believe they do one in Mexico, but they did a big, or was it Brazil? They did a huge one. I would have to go back and look, but they did a huge one that was like Naughty 3, and they've got their X event of some kind, which I believe is like other than that, I mean, dude, I don't know. Maybe it'll meet it for you and not for somebody else. I don't know what he's expecting. He didn't even say what games he likes, so it's hard to know.
I want to say if any year has made sense for Xbox to come out swinging and really send a message, this year is 100% it.
Yeah.
It's why I said,
true.
well, I'm not a fan of their CGI approach that they've taken in a couple of games, that if you're going to announce something big
Right.
that is IP based, we'll say, that you probably want to do that ahead of time to let people know what's coming. Kind of like what they did with Indiana Jones, right? It's almost guaranteed it'll be an Xbox exclusive, and I'm sure Xbox is going to try to put, because what we're seeing develop here is right now it looks like PlayStation's the Marvel console, right? You've got Spider-Man on Avengers.
True.
You've got Spider-Man PS4. We got Miles Morales. I think Xbox probably wants to take that's what I heard. Xbox wants to take the Lucasfilm route. So we're seeing that with Indiana Jones. And there is another developer from the first-party Xbox team that I've heard is working on a pretty well-known IP. So there's some really exciting stuff around the corner. So I'm like, if they're going to pre-announce that type of stuff, then I think they really should. Because it will shock them, that's for sure. And I think it would really excite them for the future in a way that makes sense, right? Like, I think a pre-announcement of a Fable, something you've seen before, a pre-announcement of Perfect Dark, I feel like those are the announcements you hold on to and you wait to show, so when the gameplay pops, you're like, what? That was Perfect Dark? So that's what I think they should do. And if you're going to pre-announce something, one thing I'm going to continue to beat the drum on, you're going to hear it when we do our E3 predictions episode and whatnot, is, of course, pre-announce something Fallout related. Obviously, nothing's ready right now, but In Exile probably is the best candidate for a Fallout spin-off of some kind. Just announce it. Even if it's a pure concept, like, we're doing it. That's it. Like, it's not even on the setting, story, nothing. Just that you're doing it. I think that would be really valuable. Just to be able to say, we got new Fallout stuff exclusively.
What if, were you even alive? You weren't. I'm not that old, but remember when Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic got announced and they had the Jedi walking around on the main stage? Those guys came out in their Padawan uniforms, the two doctors. Imagine this, man. Imagine Todd and Phil are out there, and all of a sudden you just see random people from multiple companies come out and stand behind you, and they're like, you no longer are, Bethesda or Microsoft or Obsidian or In Exile. This is the Fallout team. Like, can you imagine what kind of world would explode? See, this is why I need to work in PR. But can you imagine what that would be like if they were like, there's no boundaries, none whatsoever. This is the Fallout team, has nothing to do with Bethesda, has nothing to do with In Exile, has nothing to do with anything. It is quite literally a game team from now on. And that is how we're going forward from now on.
Honestly, that wouldn't be a bad idea. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Because you have enough heads from Obsidian, Bethesda, In Exile to use as executive producers.
Yeah.
Where you can say, hey, we want you to kind of vet some of this or sign off on it, see what you think about it. Like those guiding hands that are very crucial, while letting a whole dedicated team do. Fuck, that is a really fucking good idea.
Wouldn't that be amazing if they just came out? I think it'd be cool if they were quiet about it too, as in they didn't say now announcing Phil Spencer and his team, but it was just Phil Spencer comes out, and as they're talking about other shit, people just start piling onto and you're like, oh, they're just gonna thank everybody on the Xbox team, and then at the very end they're like, oh no, this isn't a thank you, this is to tell you what's in the future. And speaking of the future, Fallout's in the future. Boom! And then they're like, this is our team.
A nuke drops.
Whoops! Bad timing. But no, I mean, to me, that's one of the places where Microsoft can nail it. Because I do think Microsoft has one particular issue, and that's that they're never making anybody happy with the stuff that would normally make other console fans happy. Yep. So Cuphead, we've talked about this, Cuphead or Ori, they announce that, and people are like, where's your Gears? And then you show Gears, where's Ori? And you're like, oh my god! How do you win? So what I would say is do a couple indies, do a couple of your huge bigs, make sure you're hitting your genre, like you're racing, whatever, and then capture a little bit of the attention. I think for this person who commented, maybe they didn't capture one of the genres he wanted, which is possible, where if you're a Forza fan, dude, I mean, Xbox has amazing racing games, and if you're not seeing it, then I could see you being unhappy with an E3 and going, dude, they still didn't do Forza.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like the Achilles heel, if you will, of having such a diverse portfolio when it comes to the genres your exclusives cover, like open world, stealth, first person shooter, so on and so forth, is that someone will be left hanging. Like as an RPG fan, if they didn't show up with Avowed, Fable, or Starfield, I'd be like, all right, it was still good, but you know, like my thing I love didn't appear there. So I think it's a really good point, and it kind of shows just how much they have to offer too. No,
what if at the very ending they were like, oh, and by the way, you know, we have been talking to Ubisoft, we are gonna, you know, put their games on our system, blah blah blah, but that's not all, and all you hear is the fucking Splinter Cell, the little night vision go on, and then Michael Ironside comes out and he's like, remember that pussy who tried to replace me in the last game? I killed him.
Fuck
Splinter
him.
Cells.
He's gone.
Fuck him. They did that with Hitman. I had forgotten. They did the same thing with Hitman. They tried to replace a voice actor and it didn't work, and they had to get the original voice actor back. I would love to see those kind of games where you're hinging on a third party, and I think we will see those. I mean, there's some rumors of some pretty big, and not even the ones I've talked about in the past, but rumors, you know, like your Ubisofts, whatever, who obviously has no issue working with other companies. I think we could see some really cool third party stuff.
Absolutely. I can kind of drag us a little bit into that more with Steve Forgione's comment. Hey boys, hope all is well. Jeff Grubb recently stated on a stream that Gears 6 may not appear at E3 due to Microsoft, quote, having a lot going on, end quote. Any speculation as to what those projects could be? Also, do you see Gears 6 happening within the next year or two? And if so, will it be a Halo Infinite style game as a platform where it may be the main hub for Gears content for the foreseeable future? Makes sense to me seeing how Microsoft games get year-long support now with MCC and Sea of Thieves highlighting this effort. Thanks for reading. Keep up the great content. P.S. Maddie, I picked up Lord of the Rings Conquest on your recommendation, hoping it is minimum an enjoyable Battlefront clone, and it is. I would like you to write in again, Steven. Let me know how much you like it. So Gears 6, yeah, this is an interesting situation that they're in, because Gears, when we were preparing for our ranked list, I learned that Gears really hasn't had more than like a 3-year break since 2006 when it first started. So it's been pretty relevant to Xbox for every generation in some way, shape, or form. Even as they transferred studios to the Coalition, like there was still not that big of a gap. So I do foresee them either continuing to support in the way of a Tactics 2 or another Gears style game. Because what's interesting is Halo is very story-centric, but I feel like with this sequel trilogy, if you will, so far, the story sort of lost the picture. Whereas Gears has been pretty continuous, with 5 making some major callbacks to like 2 and 3 especially. And even 1 in some instances. Where I feel like Gears 6 makes more sense as a wrap-up, and then maybe the platform is the multiplayer, kind of like what they were doing with 5. With Operations, I kind of anticipate more of that, unless they're just full out abandoning Gears, because, you know, what the Coalition's working on next is going to be pretty dope for sure. And so I do wonder how exactly that'll all unfold. Do you foresee Gears 6 being a platform-based game? Because I really don't.
I don't really have much to say about Gears, just because I don't even know what it means by they may not show it because they have other stuff. Like, what is that? They may not. I don't know what that means. Like, you can do a title blurb at E3, even though you wouldn't like it. You can do CGI at E3. So I don't know exactly what that means. I think what that person was trying to say was there would be nothing ready for E3 to show, because they might be busy with other stuff, but that also doesn't mean anything because Microsoft has shown they will do CGI. So I don't even know really.
Well, they just did Hivebusters. They just did Gears 5. I don't think it's time.
I think it's, and that's what I was going to say, is I don't think it has anything to do with them having, like, others like being too busy. I think it's actually, if you just look at the time frame, Gears Tactics 2, I do see coming. So
Yeah.
so, and Halo Wars maybe. I just don't think Halo Wars grabbed or stuck around as much. I feel like Gears Tactics probably did really well. I don't know if it did, but I feel like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a matter of time till we find out. But I feel like Gears is a series that you just kind of wrap it up. And it was the top-selling game on Steam, Gears Tactics, at one point, with 4,087 reviews. So not too bad.
I am absolutely sure Microsoft would love to have Gears be a good version of Outriders.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
expeditions would be replaced by hive holes or whatever those things are. Holes, something holes.
I could see them doing something
Locust
like that
holes.
for sure.
Yeah. And you go out as your different gears and you do different jobs. And, there's different, like, places on this planet that go nuts and you have to go there and help others. And, you have a big battle map, that kind of stuff. I would see Microsoft doing that there versus Halo, actually. Halo, I could see sticking to multiplayer normal, and then Gears doing that.
Yeah, it's really, I think, almost a lock when you look at where the game series is at. They're just going to keep doing what they're doing. Because it's not... I think Halo demands a more strong change because what their formula wasn't working in the sense of...
And it's had a miss, right? I don't think Gears has had a miss. I don't know.
Yeah, it has. It's played it safe, and it's had some boring parts, but it's not missed.
Exactly.
So I don't think they need to change it so drastically. So yeah, just our thoughts on that. All right, let's get into the news. Number one, Xbox and Nintendo clearly have something going on, and it's time that we try to get to the bottom of all of this. In the last number of months, Xbox executives have garnered a reputation for hiding objects in the background of their studios while making appearances in various streams, events, and so on. 2 months ago, we saw Phil Spencer with a Watch Dogs Legion statue, a Ludens statue, and a Nintendo Switch that it was not docked on his shelves. Since then, insiders have claimed that all the things on said shelf have had meaning. Now, Sarah Bond, corporate vice president of gaming ecosystem at Microsoft, developed the plot further. Appearing in Microsoft's GameStack event, there was once again shelves and, you guessed it, a Nintendo Switch. Even more interesting is while Phil's Switch was located in a home setup, Sarah was in a studio space, thus making this a much more deliberate choice by the Xbox team. Now we have a quote from Phil Spencer in October 27th of 2020 with Game Reactor about Switch coming to Xbox, Xbox Game Pass coming to Switch. Previously, in July, he had completely denied that this would ever happen. He wasn't really open to it. But I think, we'll talk about this in a little bit, as certain technology develops, it led us to this point here. So, Phil said, I think for us it's all about priority and reaching more players. So we went to PC first after Xbox because there's just so many players there globally that don't own an Xbox that we can reach. We went to mobile next because there's 1 billion Android phones on the planet. It's significantly larger than any console base. We still have iOS to go after, which we'll talk about in a moment. We will come to iOS at some point. We're still working on some of our technology on PC for larger screens in terms of streaming and getting to iOS. And I think once we get through that, we look at what our other options are. There's smart TVs out there. There's Chromebooks out there. There's Fire TV out there. There's a lot of discussions we would want to have that we would prioritize based on where we would find the most new players that we can naturally bring content to. I love the Switch. I love PlayStation. Honestly, I think they've done an amazing job as being a part of this industry. I'm not sure that those are the next big set of users for us, but we could be open to that sort of discussion. So, keep all of that in mind because now that sets us up to bring the news, which is that Xbox Game Pass of some kind could come to Nintendo Switch, at least possibly. So this week is the start of invites being sent out to select Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members for limited beta for Xbox Cloud Gaming is what they're calling it, on Windows 10 PCs and Apple phones/tablets via web browsers. They'll be sending more invites out regularly in all 22 supported countries until eventually opening things up for the entirety of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members in the coming months. Meanwhile, Xbox boss Phil Spencer took to Twitter to reaffirm that internal testing is still underway on server blade upgrades for Xbox Series architecture. Furthermore, he gave a nod to PC games, saying they will come, but they are focused on console games at the moment for streaming. This is important to note because now you can actually, say for example, stream the older Gears games to your PC and be able to play them, even if you don't have a console. This is huge. I cannot overstate that, rather. And actually, the Supreme Legend Bobby B wrote in, stating just that. Hey, Dukes. Now, this is interesting because we typically get questions. This is just a straight comment, and I think it sets us up well for the rest of our discussion here. As a mainly PC gamer with little interest in picking up either next-gen console at the moment, Microsoft bringing Game Pass streaming to PC officially is very exciting. This will open up the ability for me to play console-locked classics like Gears 2 and 3 on my PC, as well as try games without going through a lengthy download. This move will get me to upgrade my Game Pass subscription from PC only to Ultimate. Additionally, people with lower-end PCs will finally be able to take advantage of the service. Since new graphics cards are hard to come by, I feel this is a smart move on Microsoft's part and will only net them more subscriptions. Hope you have a medium well day. Cheers. Thank you for writing in, Bobby B. So I know that was a mouthful. I'm going to shut up now, but a lot there. So from the Switch rumors that are clearly intentionally being placed there by Microsoft, they want you to talk about it a little bit. Nintendo account on Instagram, or it might have been Microsoft's account on Instagram, posting a Halo piece of art with Nintendo characters as like Cortana and Master Chief, the Arbiter, and so on and so forth. But clearly, something is bubbling up here, and with Game Pass streaming becoming a thing now, we're seeing it on PC phones, we've seen it on Android already, we talked about the Smart TV app. Is it possible, because I think it is, and I'll state my reasoning after because I've talked for so long, is it possible that we see some type of streaming come into Nintendo Switch, perhaps to undercut that mobile market, which is going to creep up on them over time in the coming years? What do you make of all of this?
Yes.
Yeah.
I will come to Switch. I don't know. No leak. But when Rainway announced how they got the browser version up and running with little to no all blah 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 blah, blah, like all the stuff technically has gone on. I just don't think people have no clue what's going to happen by November of this year, and it's the amounts of money and the amounts of companies working together. That's why I kept saying on Twitter, I'm like, dude, you don't understand. The world's not going to look the same. Like, if you expect it to look the same, you're going to be sorely unhappy, actually. Because everybody, well, most companies have a distinctly new idea of how to move into the future. PlayStation, not so much. And I think we'll talk about that. But overall, especially in Nintendo, I've heard people be like, well, why would they want it? Well, first of all, money, number one. Number two, I don't think people realize that, especially, Nintendo's already done streaming versions of their games in Japan. We already know that. They've already tested streaming on their own. With Microsoft probably footing the bill of everything, you suddenly have the Switch being able to be like, hey, man, if you buy a Switch, you get to play Nintendo games and you get to play Microsoft games. And the Nintendo games aren't available on your Android. Stuff like that, which is a boon for owning your Switch, owning a Switch. So,
right.
And it's a controller, by the way, which is much better than, motion touch and shit like that for controls. So you buy a Switch, you sort of get an all-in-one. And I think that's awesome, man. I think it makes, I just don't see anything about it not making sense. It's more along the lines of ego. Microsoft has none now, and I think people have always in the past seen a Microsoft with an ego. So no matter how much money they had, people wouldn't deal with them. Now, it feels to me like Phil is just like, hey, what do we need to get this working? And so other companies are like, well, you know what? If they're going to come at it in a respectful way, then let's just do this. And, why don't we all reap the whirlwind of unbelievable amounts of gamers?
Yeah, that's the thing is, I just feel it makes way too much sense for Nintendo. This is their way to leapfrog the tech challenges that, look, I know Nintendo's no tech company. I get that. They're not. But they are aware that there is a clear benefit here if they can say, let's get these next-gen games streaming on our platform. My biggest concern, and always will be, of course, the connection. The Switch Wi-Fi adapter is terrible, and they have an official
USB to Ethernet port that you can plug in, because I have one from, I forgot the name of the company, but I have one, and you can't just take any third-party one. You have to have like an official Nintendo one, which is annoying because you look at something like what PlayStation did with the Vita and their memory card, and they're making, I think, the same mistake there, especially when I think it's going to be necessary. But the beauty of this in our heads is being able to take your Switch on the go and stream these games. Of course, my question that comes in is, if the best way to play it is maybe with that Ethernet docking it, then at that point, wouldn't you just rather be playing on your Xbox? But maybe some people don't have access to these things. They may just have a Switch. So it is that casting of a wide net that we've been talking about for a while. And I think this is a natural way for Microsoft to start expanding without caving into what a lot of people view as, even though I don't think it truly is, their number one enemy, PlayStation, by going to Nintendo after you've gotten it on smart TVs and phones and everything.
It's not only that, Maddie. This allows Nintendo to roll out whatever version of Switch they want. And they are guaranteed that those Xbox games will work as long as the fucking thing has controllers. Like, there's a lot of... Look at their memory. Their memory sucks. You can get, like, one game on a Switch. You have to go out and buy an SD card. You have to go out and do all this stuff. And here, it's like, oh, the game just starts. Okay. And Microsoft isn't selling you Android phones. If Microsoft was worried about hardware platforms, they would be selling you, like, their own stuff. And you can tell that that is not at all what they're actually interested in. And until people come to that, they're going to be in sore shape. Because each week, they're going to be surprised by some new thing that happens. And they're just going to be like, wow, it's gotta go back. Dude, you can't buy GPUs right now. You can't make a new system because they can't be made due to COVID. The companies know that, and they're looking at ulterior ways of doing it.
It just not only, I talked about how it makes so much sense for Xbox, but it really does just make, I'm sorry, Nintendo, but it really does make a lot of sense for Xbox because, of course, you can cut those production costs, but would you rather spend your money and resources developing and creating more Series X and Series S consoles, which haven't been mass-produced yet,
and cost money
still
to
need
sell?
To get in the lab?
You don't make your full money back.
Exactly. Would you rather that or make we talked about the X-Boy, if you will, the potential Microsoft handheld for $100 or something like that. I think, it would be a complete Microsoft move to do both, to be like, we're going to do streaming on Switch and then we're going to do this our own tablet. I think that'd be cool because you want to cut out the middleman as much as possible, but I think Microsoft has so much money they don't care if Nintendo is that middleman, because their goal is to... It's very obvious if this happens, which it looks like it's setting up to be. Their goal is to, at all counts, accelerate the growth of Game Pass to probably 100 million members in any way, shape, or form they can make it happen. Like, they're going... Microsoft, they probably... Phil Spencer, when he pitched... Whatever he pitched to Satya Nadella, I can almost guarantee Satya was like, we need 100 million members. And Phil was like, I need you to allow me to make the moves that would get us there. Like, I will get us there. You just need to let me spend the money. And so I'm guaranteeing he's going back and forth each time, like, we need this game. There's people excited for this game. This one makes sense. Like the show, for example.
It's on Apple.
Like, that's a big blow.
It's on Apple, Maddie. Yeah. Apple is an OS. Mac is an OS. If there was any competition issues, Microsoft would not fight to be on that. They would release their own whatever. Dude, that's old style thinking, man. It's old style thinking. It only makes sense for Microsoft to be on every single thing. Anything that can possibly be on, you will see them on it. And I don't see them making a Microsoft TV. I don't see them. They're not losing money on the Xbox S, but I think the Xbox X, they certainly can't be making a ton per sale. And they can be losing because somebody buys something else because the Xbox X, Series X isn't in, let's say, a store somewhere. You can bet your ass Microsoft is like, let's just make sure the platforms are available. Our platforms, it's Apple. I don't know why people aren't more surprised by that, because personally, Sony and Microsoft makes more sense to me because they're platform holders for consoles. I know that sounds weird, but just bear with me. Like Sean Layden, somebody like that, I could see him and Phil high-fiving behind the scenes and saying, let's do something, right? But Apple and Microsoft, guys, I mean, Apple still has a hate hard-on for Microsoft buying Halo. Like, they still internally have issues. Like, there's still people who are like so anti-MS, and then MS people so anti-Apple, and here we are, looking down the barrel of them being on everything.
So my next point of discussion I want us to hit on was a lot of people are viewing Xbox as just the pure giver here and receiving none. Do you view... What do you think of my speculation? All right, let's start off with that instead. What if, at the same time this happens, we'll say Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has a little Xbox celebration. We'll say Master Chief is the next character, and you know how the Mii costumes get like all different side characters as outfits and whatnot? You add in, I don't know, you add in Marcus Phoenix, and you show it on Kirby. You show all these different characters with costumes and skins, all part of this Xbox celebration. But here's the real hard to believe part. Nintendo gives a game to Xbox. So I'm saying, we've heard the rumor of Master Chief Collection going to Nintendo. That's cool and all. Do you view, while Mario Kart is surging, they hand it over to Xbox? I mean, I know that's a very hard to imagine thing, and Nintendo, maybe they don't stand to, I put this in quotes, gain from that, but I think that there is something that's worth thinking about in the idea of what does Nintendo give back outside of receiving the streaming service of Game Pass.
Well, they're giving their platform, which is the number one sold platform. So I think that the only reason any of what you said would come true is if the money made sense. Is Nintendo open to it? We don't know. But if Nintendo's open enough to put the entire system on their platform, we would have to see. I personally don't know. Like, that's something that's always been weird because Microsoft owns Rare. So does Nintendo call up Microsoft and say, we want Rare to make a game? But Rare and Nintendo didn't like sort of split on the best of terms. So yeah, you don't know what's going on there. I don't know. I also don't know if Microsoft benefits as much from a Nintendo game as Microsoft benefits from being on every platform. I think that's all. That's all that
that's fair.
That Phil wants, and it could happen. It's just money, man. Things are for sale that were never for sale before. That's what we said. Like, if somebody shows up at your house and they're like, "Do you want to sell your house?" You go, "No," and they're like $1 million. You're like, "I'm out. I'm out." If they came and offered you $1 million for your parents' house, you'd figure a way to get your mom and dad out. Like, you'd be like, "Dude, what are we doing? Like, this makes no. We're set up for life." So I think that the money could certainly be something. I just don't know, Maddie, because I don't know what games I would feel benefit from being on the Xbox. Like, that's the one difference between is like the IPs Nintendo owns. I don't see them benefiting and being unique versus an Xbox IP being unique on a handheld.
Okay. I've got one, and I'm not doing this to hit a weak spot. Mario and Rabbids on Game Pass.
You think Mario Rabbids benefits in some way from being on it? I just feel like they're selling it to a group that's shown that they don't care. They didn't care about Ori. They didn't care about Cuphead. Like, are they going to care? I mean, I care. Like, ignoring me, because I'd be there.
Yeah, that's why I want to make sure it's clear. I wasn't trying to, like, I know Carrick likes this one, you know?
No, I get it. I just don't know if that overlap is there. I mean, maybe it is. Like, we don't know, because like, we just don't know. Yeah. I mean, Microsoft also may
I think that makes sense, because that's a Ubisoft published thing. Like, maybe you can work something out there.
And what if it was a game, Maddie, where it mixed them? Where it was Rabbids, Mario, and Sonic? Or not Sonic. Well, yeah, if they bought Sega or something. Yeah. You know, but do you get my drift? What if it was like that? Then, dude, sky's the limit. And the thing is we all win. Gamers need to... It's changed. Like, guys, behind the scenes, like, people need to have their butts prepped for completely weird shit happening. And to me, that would be... It would be something to celebrate, not something to be mad about. Everybody's mad about stuff. It's like, I'm mad that they're doing that. You're like, really? Because to me, this is just all about creation now. In fact, we're getting to a point now where a guy, Descenders, can say, I'm going to put out my system or my game on everything. So it's about the game. And if you're a gamer, man, and you try to bitch about this stuff, I'm going to have, like, you're going to have to do a really good job of explaining why you have a problem with more people playing some of these games. like, when I hear people complain about like PlayStation not having exclusive because it's on a PC, and I'm like, seriously, guys? Like, wouldn't you almost rather have, at least I would rather have, those developers get on every system? What would Days Gone look like if it was on every single system? Would we have a Days Gone 2? No. But you get my drift.
Good question, but yeah.
Probably not, but you get my drift.
Yeah. I just thought it was good food for thought because
it'd be fun to
I
see,
feel
man.
like yet times are changing in a manner of speaking, and I know Nintendo will always make Nintendo stacks of cash. Their games aren't struggling to sell, but that's why I picked out. Maybe Mario Kart wasn't the best example, but
Did
I
that
think like a
one
Mario
not sell?
Rabbids could make sense.
Did Rabbids not do well, Maddie?
Rabbids did fine. Rabbids
Did
did
it
well.
do fine?
It's
Okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, it did fine. It was profitable for sure. It's just a matter of like more people. Like instead of having, I think they had like 2 million players or whatever. Imagine getting that to like 10
Oh,
through
dude.
Game Pass.
Exactly.
That'd be amazing. So
exactly. When iOS and Android, and iOS just announced that amazing tablet, the new, which admittedly I'm not an iPad, fan, but that tablet at that price, even though it's expensive for a thing, it's still amazing technology for the price. There's a difference between the two. And there's, oh my God, you have the power in your hands to do so many games that just we wouldn't have thought were possible 5 years ago with your Vita, with your POS Vita.
yeah, right.
Just joking.
The Vita's about to be incredible again.
I know. Can you believe that? Do we have that in the news? That it came back?
No, not for this one in particular, but it's still alive, baby. It's still alive and kicking.
It was cool that Sony
Sony
reversed that. Sony, like, that was ignoring all the other stupid stuff. It was smart.
Yeah, I agree. Got a little bit of the heat off them for sure. Yeah, I was looking up Rainway just to see if there's anything we can add to that because I got their PR email about how they're kind of teaming up with Xbox, and they're teaming up with like Intel now and stuff, and they're going beyond gaming because their cloud infrastructure sort of allows this low latency. Like they were talking about a predictive mouse cursor, which sort of like an algorithm like will predict where your mouse is going, so it feels like it's streaming that in real time when it's technically not. So it seems like I listened to an interview. Jeff Grubb did one with him, and it was really good. It's only about 20 minutes. It's on Spotify if anyone wants to listen. It's called How Games Make Money, but it was pretty good. And yeah, I gave that a listen if you want to learn more about Rainway in general. But that was kind of my big takeaway is they seem to be like a big player in this whole reason why Xbox is able to stream their games on iOS devices now. It's because of Rainway. So pretty cool. All right, let's get into number 2 on the news. Xbox Game Pass additions and exits. Let's start off with what's coming to Game Pass. You have Fogs heading on to PC April 22nd. Second Extinction through game preview will be available on cloud, console, and PC April 28th. Destroy All Humans, cloud, console, and PC April 29th. And then on cloud, Fable 3 and Anniversary. So I think the cloud editions are a little more significant now because pretty much all devices are being supported outside of course, TVs now. We're waiting for smart TV support. As for Xbox Game Pass exits, April 30th is when all of these games are leaving, which are Endless Legend on PC, For the King on cloud, console, and PC, Fractured Minds on cloud and console, Levelhead on cloud, console, and PC, Moving Out on cloud, console, and PC, and Thumper on PC. So if any of those interest you, you have till April 30th to download, play them, see what they're all about. As for the additions, Carrick, what do you make of Destroy All Humans and Second Extinction and Fogs? I don't know if you've played Fogs or know anything about Fogs. Never heard of it personally. Yeah.
I mean, Second
Destroy All
Extinction
Humans, though.
It was pretty. It was a pretty good game overall. It was a fun shooter, and it's some cool ideas. Destroy All Humans, I wasn't in love with the remake. I like the game though, so like that one's cool. It's a good get for them too. Like it's just one more title where. It's just one more title. Like, it's just stupid. I don't know if you saw the Linus Tech Tips video he just did about streaming, but it was like,
I did not.
He came away saying, okay, listen, like, GeForce Now is probably the best technically because they had the hacked version of the Xbox PC, and it just now, so they did the video prior to the official beta starting. And, but he's like, dude, Game Pass is just, I mean, he went on about it. He's like, this is insane. Like, there's just so many games now, and that's just one more. which is cool. And I think it's a good price point. You go in, you're like, hey, I can download it. You may end up loving it, man. Fable.
Yeah.
One of those I didn't like at all. One of them was
maybe.
Was it 3 where it like Vaseline vision, had really bad anti-aliasing blurriness. I think it
Might
was
have been
3.
the older ones.
Well, no, because 1 was fine, 2 was the kids as brother and sister, and then 3 was years later with like
Revolution
Revolution.
like a Prince or whatever.
I'm pretty sure I was not a huge fan. So that would
A lot
be
of people weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people weren't a fan of 3. Yeah, I'm just happy to see them come in the cloud now because once I, hopefully at some point, get my invite, I would love to get in on this. There are so many games that you can just fire up on your phone or your tablet. Like I said, we do all our shows here off of this little iPad, and just being able to say like, yep, this is my mobile gaming machine now is pretty dope. So I'm particularly excited about things. For me, out of all these editions, I think it's Destroy All Humans. I really like the remake of that. It's just a very fun game. It's nothing truly like it. You know, it comes from that pandemic studio era of games where they were doing Battlefront, Mercenaries. They were doing Lord of the Rings Conquest, Saboteur. Just consistently great. Very rare to see. And they just went through a golden era, man. This was one of those games. It was major. And so I thought THQ Nordic did a good job with it. If you have the ability to download and play this, I would strongly recommend it. I think it's great that they have it on all platforms, not just console, not just PC, but all of them. Because we're seeing that less and less now. And when it comes to THQ Nordic, I'm surprised we haven't seen them embrace the service strong or even more strong. You know, I think it was Desperados published by THQ Nordic.
You know, I don't remember.
Double check.
I don't remember on that one.
But I was surprised we haven't seen like a Kingdoms of Amalur yet. I thought that would make its way there. THQ Nordic did publish Desperados 3, by the way. So they are on there. They have had a presence, I was pretty sure. But I would love to see them get Kingdoms of Amalur on there. That'd be extremely exciting.
I mean, yeah, I don't know exactly. They're, you know, I do know that they're still looking at more, you know, Embracer Group's still looking at more things.
Of course they are.
Right? Like, a small continent. They're like, let's move it. Let's make a game where you can control the continent and move it. Like, there's so much money involved there. Maybe they're not rushing because of that. I don't know.
It's so funny because a lot of people are excited about Aspyr doing the KOTOR remake, but a lot of people forget they're owned by the Embracer Group. And so it's like, well, what does that mean, you know? And
right, because they've been decidedly middling at times, and they even stated in their original, like, this is why we're getting into gaming. It was not to spend AAA money on stuff. So we'll have to see.
I kind of like that though when it comes to KOTOR, because KOTOR doesn't feel AAA.
Dude, you'd have to
in really any sense.
Right, you'd have to. But that'd be just KOTOR remake if you wanted it to look like today, right? You know, like not even Mass Effect, whatever it's called, Legendary Edition looks like a today game. So it would cost a lot of money. I would still want to see it though.
Oh hell yeah! Hell fucking yeah! Oh my god, I want to see that shit. I cannot wait for whenever they show it off. Maybe May the 4th. We'll see. Only a couple weeks away. Alright, number 3. More updates are coming across the Xbox ecosystem, ranging from mobile apps to Game Pass. For starters, viewing achievements on the game details page, as well as monthly achievement leaderboards, has been added to Xbox's app. Game Pass itself sees the addition of playing with your friends, which we talked about previously, where you can see who is playing a game on Game Pass and then hop straight in. Interestingly, Game Pass is getting a collections feature, which is interesting because what's cool is we actually answered a question last week about what would you want to see change with Xbox, and I was digging for an answer. Man, I can't think of a problem right now. And then I went, you know what? Game Pass organization is a big problem. So, they're adding the following collections. First-person shooters, science fiction, horror, sandbox, mystery, anime, fantasy, cute, and more. So there'll be more beyond that. They're not segmented by publishers like I was hoping for, but this is a great first step, I think. On top of that, gamers are now given the option to suspend their games to free up bandwidth and get the most efficient download speeds. The idea is that with Quick Resume, you can hop right in when you want to start playing again, but the support is not available across all titles, so this isn't really, I think, that big of a deal. Lastly, you can now ask Alexa to download games via Game Pass if you link your Alexa to your Xbox. All you need to say is, Alexa, download game from Xbox Game Pass, and it'll do it. So,
Eric, are you able to test that? I know you have an Alexa. Are you able to test that for the show here?
Not live, no. I would.
Fuck, that would be so cool.
I didn't merge the two together. I tried one time because they had done the voice commands, and I could never get the two machines to talk. It just would not work. So no matter what, I unfortunately, haven't been able to get those to actually merge up.
Unfortunate.
Anyway, I mean, that
just
is
some
pretty
updates
cool.
coming to
If you
Xbox
were on
in
the
general.
PC, you're typing away and you see a game, and being able to ask for it to be downloaded. That's very cool.
Yeah. Anything you want to add on top of that, or should we keep moving along?
Yeah, nothing for that one.
Yeah, same. I just thought it all went in a nice little package there, those three back to back. Let's move on to something a little more exciting. As if Maddie and Carrick willed it into existence, Wasteland 3 is getting its first expansion in the form of the Battle of Steeltown, which releases on June 3rd. The expansion adds new quests, new mechanics, such as telegraphed attacks, stacking status effects, elemental shields, and non-lethal weapons, combat and gear scaling so new and returning players can enter Steeltown whenever they'd like in their playthrough. Base expansion, so that home base you have in Wasteland 3, that's going to expand, and new music, all of which can be experienced in co-op or alone. Studio head of In Exile, Brian Fargo, announced that there will be 2 expansions in total. He highlighted that the extra audio has been added to the main game to increase what the game is known best for, reactivity. Xbox Game Pass members will get Battle of Steeltown's expansion for 10% off of the $13.99 price tag. Before this expansion, the 1.4 patch will arrive. This update boasts an all-new crafting system that will allow players to create new weapons and mods along with obvious things such as ammo and medical supplies. With this, there are 3 ways you can get recipes for crafting. The first is by leveling up. So you increase your first aid skill, for example, the article writes, and you'll unlock recipes for making something like a med hypo. The second is by buying said recipes from vendors or looting them across Colorado. And then lastly, the third one is through getting ideas by acquiring mysterious ingredients. So the article suggested that you combine Ken's shriveled junk with some mustache wax. Interesting stuff there. But anyway, Carrick, we were talking about, hey, did this game do well enough to warrant some DLC? Did it sell well enough? It appears it did if they were doing an expansion on it, man. So that's great news for both of us. We loved Wasteland 3. Are you looking forward to diving back in?
Yeah, especially with the crafting stuff. I don't know. Maybe I just didn't know there was crafting planned, or at least the way they stated it. I don't remember reading any of that or being told.
No,
that,
they've
so pretty surprising.
They deserve more credit than they're getting because the updates that they've been doing for the game haven't just been. The first couple were bug fixes and loading tweaks and all that stuff because the game wasn't in a good technical state. Once it was, though, it's really been full steam ahead with the actual content. It's been pretty surprising, to say the least, because they've added in a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm really excited to dive back into this and start up a new playthrough heading into June 3rd. It seems like they're taking the route that Obsidian did with the Outer Worlds, where they're saying it's one of those things where the expansion is a part of the story. It's not necessarily like after the story, which I like because also Bethesda Game Studios did that with Fallout. Obsidian did it with New Vegas on top of the Outer Worlds. So I think this is a really good choice. So June 3rd, $13.99, not bad price at all, especially if you're getting 10% off. That goes down to about like $12, $11 with Game Pass members. I have to say, I really am looking forward to playing this again. It was truly one of the best RPGs of the last generation. From top to bottom, it is exquisite in its reactivity to your choices.
Yeah.
2 playthroughs definitely are not going to be the same. That's like a guarantee, which you can very rarely say. The builds you can do are diverse, and when they're adding stuff like telegraphed attacks, no one knows what that is, but stacking status effects, elemental shields, non-lethal weapons. What's cool about these things is they work retroactively in the base game. So it's not just this standalone expansion that's operating on its own. There are things that are being added where crafting is now carrying into this expansion, and vice versa. Like, there's so much there that's being added to the base game that's carrying over, and they said that each kind of instance is going to be different when you start up this expansion because it's going to account for your choices in the base game. So there's stuff that's going to happen in the base game now that impacts Steeltown. I think that's fucking awesome. I cannot emphasize enough how good of an RPG this is. It is available on Game Pass. It is, as I said twice in the show, co-op. Please give it a chance if you have yet to. It is ridiculously good. Carrick, back me up. Get them to download this shit.
No, it is definitely good. Is it 4-player co-op
Fuck
or
yeah.
2? I can't remember.
2.
2-player.
2. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess 4 would be sort of nuts. That'd be a little over the top. Now
Imagine that. I mean, that'd be pretty cool, but
I mean,
you
could have some crazy shit going on. Just the fact that it's 2 players good enough. Like that's it's very cool to see those kind of titles get it. And yeah, it's awesome to see crafting and all that kind of stuff added in. I mean, the game's just really good. It technically, I think a lot of people had issues, but I just didn't have as many. And like, that's how it goes.
that happens.
Yeah, that's how it goes. And I got lucky. This is one of the few games where, because I test on a lot of machines, so the chance of having a problem is higher. And I got away unscathed. Well, not unscathed, but man, I had some friends who were like, dude, I haven't been able to play co-op yet. And I'm like,
Ooh.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm hoping to see this come out with not like Square's issues with Outriders, where if you patch it, you don't break something. Like, that's what I'm nervous about. Is like, patch it, update it, hopefully it doesn't break that shit.
So far, we haven't seen that, but fingers crossed that this isn't the update that
We haven't in
I think it should be
in the other ones. That's good. In the other updates.
From what I've seen, because the excitement in the community's been there.
Good.
I will admit I have not tested the last 2.
Okay.
But the excitement is there in the community.
You would've
There hasn't
heard.
been when I've read any complaints.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I would have heard. So, pretty good news there for those of you who are big fans of Wasteland 3 like
Awesome.
us. Please do once again give it a look if you have yet to. Very few games I'll recommend that hard.
Emphatically,
But that's
yeah.
one of them. Yeah, emphatically. Yeah, that's probably a better word than hard. Number 5, just a little bit of an update. Discord has ended their talks with potential suitors, including Microsoft, according to a report by Wall Street Journal. Microsoft was in talks to acquire Discord for $10 billion, but this was Discord who made the decision to back out. Some people familiar with the deal stated that the company is performing well and prefers to stay independent at this time, which this is what I talk about with Square Enix and I talked about with Discord, is people are like, oh, shucks. And I'm like, why do we want everyone to be acquired? Let them, until they feel like they need to, let them stay independent. But I will say this, Carrick. Would you walk away from a $10 billion payday?
Not unless I thought I could do better later on, which maybe they're so far ahead of
must think
Zoom
that.
and Google that maybe that's what they're thinking.
They're
They've
probably
really,
thinking beyond gaming, right? That's got to be it.
yeah. I mean, you and I talked to I can't remember was it Mallory? Was that you and I on that podcast? She worked at Discord, or was that somebody
Yeah,
else?
Mallory works at Discord, yep.
And she was even saying behind the scenes that they were looking at business a step away from games. The store went away. A lot of people have lost the partnership, I guess. I'm not aware. I wasn't aware of that, but I guess a lot of people are reporting they've lost like Discord partnership. I don't know if I had it or have it. That's, I guess, one thing that they need to do better is make communities have a reason to be there, other than it just working well. Because another company will come along and they'll annihilate you. If all you're doing is being like, we work okay, well, guess what? Like, that's at some point that'll die out. So, yeah, it's going to be cool. I think they're also adding their own versions of this Clubhouse thing. I don't know if you've even investigated Clubhouse, but it's like everybody and their mother is doing a Clubhouse ripoff. Like Facebook and Twitter's got the new one, Spaces or whatever. Yeah, so Discord has one as well. What, did you try Spaces, whatever the fuck it's called?
No, I don't like social media. I've always made that pretty clear. Like, I use it for my work, and it's why I've wanted to, not to tap back into what we talked about at the beginning of the show, but I've wanted to tap back in more and more to that original content because you become too reliant on the cycle and stuff, and I just feel like more and more people are like broadcasting their fucking lives at a certain point. And it's, I don't know. I love interaction. I love my audience. I love connecting with people. But there's also, that's why I like conventions. That's why I like going to the events,
Because it's
like
special,
flying out
because it's once or twice a year, man.
Yeah, it's not like, hey, watch me go shopping. It's like, dude, fuck off. Go shopping and just leave us be.
Yeah, agreed.
So, yeah. Anyway, Discord backing out. They will not be acquired, and I think that's good news. Number 6, Double Fine has provided an update on the much-delayed Psychonauts 2 via their official Twitter account. These things have been quiet. Yes, Psychonauts 2 is this year, and yes, I've been mentioning that here and elsewhere for a while, but no, I can't tell you when, because someone from the company would arrange for a mysterious cactus accident to happen to me. But it is real, it is playable, it is coming. So, Psychonauts 2 still happening. Not exclusive, by the way, multi-plat release, so if you're on PlayStation, you can still pick it up. But this is one that has been in development for a big, long development cycle. A little bit worried for the game, but hopefully it comes out good.
I mean, Tim, what have they done that's been other? They did a early access game that was a disaster on Steam. But have they done a bad game? I guess they did the PSVR version of this, which I wasn't a fan of.
No, that was Platonic. I was gonna say ukulele, but that was not. Yeah. They did those point-and-click adventure games. Was it Broken Age, I think was?
Yeah, right. And they split that into two. Broken Game.
Yeah.
They split that into two instead of one. Sorry, but they did. It was weird.
That's funny.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah, I remember people playing it, and point-and-click adventure games, like, I know they'll never vibe with me. Like, they just...
Yeah. Some games.
Like, I know Bard's Tale is kind of point-and-click adventure, but there's RPG elements, so of course that'll keep me hooked. So I would give a pass to something like that. You could say Danganronpa was point-and-click adventure, and I will not argue any of you on that, but I think the trial gameplay supplements it. So I'm excited to see Psychonauts 2 because I know this has been like a highly anticipated sequel for a long while. So I want to see what all the buzz is about. And I got to play the first one before all that. I've been playing some older games, so that's a back pocket. Now this one's interesting, Carrick. Resident Evil Village. I was gonna put this higher up on the news, but right now it's unconfirmed, but it still warrants discussion. So let's start off with the first part of the news, which is what it was only gonna be, the specs. So on Series X, Resident Evil Village will be 4K 60 FPS with ray tracing at 4K 45 FPS. Then on Series S, it'll be 1440p at 45 FPS with ray tracing on Series S at 1440p 30 FPS. The minimum PC requirements are a processor of a i5 7500 or AMD Ryzen 3 1200, 8 gigabytes of RAM, a GTX 1050 Ti with 4 gigabytes of video memory, or a Radeon RX 560, with once again 4 gigabytes of memory. Whereas the recommended PC specs are a i7 8700 or a Ryzen 5 3600, 16 gigs of RAM, a GTX 1070 or Radeon RX 5700. But what's even more interesting beyond the specs for those of you who really want to get into some tea is the potential leaked contract between Capcom and PlayStation. Now, I have not seen this confirmed. Once again, why it is at the back of the show. I don't know, have you seen any updates on this before I go further?
Just no, but as somebody who wrote contracts, that's contract language, but it's a piece of paper.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like anybody could write that. Anybody could take the original leak that might not have had that and added that in. Like that's one of the biggest issues. Is the you'll never be able to prove that's real.
Yeah. And so I think it still warrants a discussion because the highlighted section is the feature, content, and technical parity, section 1.4, where it reads, during the term and for 7 years thereafter, publisher, which will be Capcom, will ensure each version of the game available on PlayStation platform maintains content, feature, and technical parity subject to material platform limitations with any equivalent of the game or DLC released on other competitive platforms or PC/mobile platform. Publisher will not release the game or any DLC on any competitive platform or PC/mobile platform on an exclusive basis, or offer any additional content or additional features or benefits to end users of the game on any competitive platform or PC or mobile platform on an exclusive basis. There's a little bit more that we can get into throughout this, but for starters, what do you make of some of that? A little bit of exclusive technical parity.
Yep. I mean, it's that kind of stuff has been around since the Saturn. And the only reason I know that is because I got to, like, one of the reasons why I've always had an issue with these big companies is because I had friends who worked at a company during the Sega Saturn days that Sony bought. And at the time, they basically just bought them because they were planning on doing a Sega Saturn game. And they didn't want them to. But they didn't want the game on the Sony. So they bought them, and then the company just evaporated. And it was like, and that's sort of, in fact, one of the ways where I sort of got into the gaming background and like contracts and understanding how companies can deal with one another. None of that is unique. None of it's surprising. None of it's like I was actually surprised people. I don't know what they think. I think they think people shake each other's hands after spitting on them. Like some gamers are all, can't believe that, and you're like, dude, seriously? You can't? Because we can see it's happened, obviously. And then when he's talking about material and if it's possible to do so, what they're basically just asking for is very normal stuff, which is they're asking Capcom to update their game on Sony if they update their game on the Xbox. That is normal. That's like what a platform holder is, the expectations, all that kind of stuff. That's why we saw some people who write, legal documents on Twitter going like, dude, there's absolutely nothing about this that's like unique in some way. I think Sony's just getting hammered. And you know me, I'm not a big Sony, like I'm not a fan of any of these companies, but it's like when I see that, I'm all right.
That's the thing. I saw people calling it bullshit, and I'm like, this kind of looks like. Well, number one, can Xbox fans wake up for a second and realize that they just locked down all the Bethesda stuff? Let's remember that before we talk about any exclusivity, because right below that they say PS platform timed exclusivity and what the developer has to abide by. People are like, that's bullshit. I'm like, really? Like, how is that bullshit after what Xbox did?
Right.
But yeah, to me, this seemed like, we've signed NDAs and I've had to sign contracts for sponsors and stuff. This is pretty typical contract language, and so this didn't really surprise me all that much, but I found it interesting nonetheless, because it's very rare we see something like this pop out in gaming. So,
and I don't know about you, Maddie, but so when I worked at a company, you'd write your contracts. It depends on if you're writing a contract for like a state for a grant or you're writing a contract for a third party. One of the things that people do in digital stuff is you watermark stuff, right? So you watermark it, and that way you can track, let's say, a leak, those kind of things. It's not unusual for like paper documents to have weird marks on them to track like which version, the Capcom version or the Sony version of this. Which office did this come from? Look at the signatures, which one comes first, all that kind of stuff. What I noticed about this one was there was nothing. There was the signatures at the end, but there was no there wasn't even and maybe this person didn't take a picture of it, but there was not even keep in the offices of Capcom, do not take home, because we would have that in our contracts. We'd have a paper version, and on it would be a list, and it would be like, you are not allowed to take this outside of the office. You're not allowed to photograph. Now, I could have missed that, by the way. It could be on there somewhere. But I didn't see it like on the front page, which is where we would have it. It'd be front and center of like sort of a property, line of evidence kind of thing. It's like you always have to make sure that this doesn't get out. It was weird. And wasn't it just signed by like two people? Like the signature at the end was weird, because it was just like, I mean, maybe that's the way they do it, but usually it involves like, well, we would have like 6 signatures, including a notary, a legal notary would be there. Maybe that was on there, but I didn't see that. I just saw 2 dudes, and I don't remember who it was. Probably was it Jim?
So, I know
it would be their third-party head, probably.
Let me Google it real quick for you, because I know it was Capcom. Let's see here. The article is Sony deal reportedly blocks Resident Evil Village release on Xbox Game Pass. Here we go. I found the tweet. Sorry. Give me 1 second. Let's see here. Where is the signature that we're looking for? Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, is that Xbox fans are upset that they can't get the Game Pass release, which not every game's going to be on Game Pass, so
yeah,
I don't really.
Yeah,
I don't see that as the biggest deal. I did feel like Resident Evil Village would be an ideal Game Pass game. Here we go. I found it. It is Capcom president and Jim Ryan, but only the Capcom president signed it. No signature from Jim Ryan. So, very interesting. It was the Capcom president
Haruhiro Sugimoto. Oh.
I mean, yeah, you know, every company will do stuff different, so I guess, you know, it can mean anything. I guess you're right, you know, the Game Pass thing. Obviously, Sony doesn't want, and this is one of the reasons why I don't believe Microsoft was doing this full time. People were telling me, oh, Microsoft was just going to let Game Pass be the competitor, and I was firmly like, no, I don't think so, because number one, the other companies can stop that. Well, guess what you're seeing right now? That other companies are going to stop it. They'll be like, do you want it on Sony at all? Then you can't do it on Game Pass. And that's one of the reasons why I firmly believed that's not all Microsoft was doing when it comes to deals and when it comes to getting IPs. It's not all they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Just really interesting.
too bad we can't get the Game Pass version. Yeah, it was French, right?
I don't think it's the end of the world, but
Wasn't it a
What's up?
French leaker? Some French leaker? It wasn't in English. I remember when I first read it, I couldn't even understand what the
I
leak
thought it was
about.
Spanish, but I didn't.
Oh.
I didn't really read. I'll be honest. I just looked at the contract. I didn't read. Like I didn't
Right,
read
didn't
their
read, yeah.
actual. All right. Last bit of news, and then we'll get into our Game Pass picks of the week. KOTOR remake news. If you've been listening to the show here for a while, you've been listening to Ham Radio or my channel. This isn't news, but for those of you who maybe are hopping in for the first time, Knights of the Old Republic is being remade by Aspire Media. This is the company known for porting a various amount of games, but most are knowing them for their work on the big KOTOR 2 on Steam update, where they added Steam workshops. They added achievements, widescreen support, controller support. They brought KOTOR to mobile on tablets as well. And they ported recently Stubbs the Zombie, and they also did Republic Commando. So they've been doing a lot of work with the Star Wars license in general. They did Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. So they've been just bringing back this golden era of Star Wars to modern gamers. And I do know that they're working on the same thing for the original KOTOR. At least that's what I had last heard. Like a PS4 and Switch release of some kind. I don't know what they're doing for Xbox, and I don't know if the remake's going to overshadow that. But regardless, this is just news I wanted to resurface for those of you who haven't been paying attention and pop it out there. Because we reported this back in February. So, I want to go ahead and bring that back up. All right. Ready for our Game Pass picks of the week?
Yeah. Game Pass first.
Yes, sir. I got mine locked and loaded, Carrick. It's ready to fire.
You can go first then on this one.
Beautiful. I picked Outriders. I know, it's brand new. It was our big day one Game Pass game where most of you have probably already tried it. But if you haven't yet, this is Mr. 40 Hours in Outriders speaking to you clearly, saying give the game a fucking try. It is pretty good. I thought it was fun. I beat it over the weekend, and I have to say I enjoyed every minute of it. It was hilariously bad at times, and that was part of the fun of it. By that, I do mean that the story was really cheesy. It was really tacky. It was very B tier. And I almost think it was intentional as I kept going on and on with the game. I was like, this has to be intentional. Not because they're bad writers, but the amount of times like a big spider would appear and you'd hear your smoker's voice protagonist go,
Wow.
what the fuck? Like
Yeah,
that. I'm
so
like,
crazy.
all the times. What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
it was so funny, man. So I loved the game for that. I thought it was a really good time. The combat, very chaotic, very fast paced. Towards the later game, there was like two different enemy designs. The shaman, it was a shaman. What was the enemy type? It had an overload shield. It was super spongy. It was terrible. It was terrible. Only enemy I had really the whole game that actually pissed me off and led to me turning down my world tier. Other than that, I thought it was really enjoyable in single player. The builds were fun, and I want to start up another playthrough after I do some of the expeditions. But I gotta say, if you haven't tried it yet, it's worth a look. Still on Game Pass. Really good time. And so, do give Outriders a peek if you have yet to. That'll be my Game Pass pick.
Mine's Tetris Effect. Have you ever played it?
No, Dustin talks about it all the time.
Yeah. I'm not like the biggest fan in the world. I like those kind of games, though. I like columns and Tetris, in Coke Smash, anything, this stuff descending, trying to fit it all together. But one of the things about Tetris Effect that's pretty cool is just graphically, it's insane, which reminds me of like a Tempest or something where they've sort of taken an old game and they've like exploded it graphically with particles and all this stuff. And man, this game is super popular, and I kept hearing people talk about it, and I finally ended up checking it out, and I was really impressed. It's very cool. I'm not saying it's different. Like Tetris, it's still Tetris at its core, for some, but it's sort of Tetris on LSD and crank, where you're just like, what the fuck, colors, which to me, that's sort of fun sometimes. Where, when it's just like pretty, it's almost like fireworks going off, and you're just like, wow, this is sort of cool looking. So definitely think it's well worth people checking out if you're a fan of older style games. I know a lot of people love that game.
If you're on like a little bit of a social media and gaming detox, you take a night or two off and you hop back in, those types of games hit way better.
Yeah,
because you've cleared the system out, and so that like overloading, the sensory overload feels a little bit better because you can actually enjoy it and not just blankly staring at explosions going colors, and I feel absolutely fucking nothing. Like
sometimes it's sort of awesome to just like, it's sort of kid-like. Like rediscovering what fireworks is like versus knowing how they're done. Have you ever had that friend who's like, if you take them somewhere, technically this is actually because, and you're all, and I can get that way, so I know that effect, because I've done that with friends where I explain something, they're like, yeah, I didn't really need you to, neuter the fun out of this entire experience. Whoops. So, yeah, Tetris is definitely worth it if you can detach for a little bit. Very cool.
Yeah, I agree. I want to check that out. Dustin's talking about it for so long, and it's like, okay, long overdue. Backwards compatible pick of the week time. You ready?
Yeah, I am. I'll go first on this just because I want people to try it out. And, okay, so I want to make sure I'm clear. It's not the greatest of the series. It's the fact that I think because of when it was released, it was like some of the other titles in this series that I'm going to talk about that didn't get some experience, and that's Assassin's Creed Liberation. Have you ever played that one?
I have not. I have it on my Vita, but I have not played it.
That's what I was going to say. So this is like Rogue, where Rogue didn't get next gen. Well, Liberation didn't get out of Vita. And then they did and admittedly, it's a sort of a side story. It's about a black slave that becomes like one of the characters, gets free and goes out and does her thing. I actually dug it, man. Like, I mean, it was just different. It was different in the way that Assassin's Creed games are not different. It would be the way to describe it. Like, there was some weird oddities there, that I really liked. I liked it from a different style of character, and I enjoyed it. Again, not a great game, but what is it going to cost? $4.99 or something like that? And if you like Assassin's Creed games from back then, maybe give it a try, because I know a lot of people are like, I don't like Assassin's Creed Origins and Valhalla. I don't like the new way they're doing it. And it's like, well, maybe you haven't tried this one that is actually in that old style. So that would be mine.
Yeah. Agreed. Looks pretty good. I picked Persona 4 Arena. What I learned through some of my research is that Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, the one that brings in the Persona 3 squad alongside Persona 4, is not available via backwards compatibility on Series X and S. But Persona 4 Arena is, and it is still a really good game. Now, I will say Ultimax is the better one, but Persona 4 Arena continues the story pretty much directly after Persona 4. So if you want a little bit more of that, the story is solid, introducing a new character called Labris and building up her backstory a little bit, and you get a little more of that with, I think his name is Sho in Ultimax. But still a really good game. Competent Fighter comes from Arc System, so they're the ones who brought us the likes of Dragon Ball FighterZ, my favorite fighting game of all time. So you see a lot of DNA from that in this game. You get to see, it's one thing with Persona games, you technically develop a
a relationship with these characters. So to see them in a more lifelike manner than just turn-based and actually like move right and they move right and they press attack and they'll do an attack. That responsive feedback is I think really valuable, even though it's just being a fighting game. I understand. I feel like it takes on a new form because you've established a relationship with these characters. So I really like Persona 4 Arena. I have it on both my PS3 and my 360. And so if you have the Series X controller, fighting games really aren't as much of a grind as they were on the 360, where you walk away with calluses on your thumb after a session. So that's a little bit... Yeah, it's a little bit more to the wayside now where you can get away with it. And while it's not Ultimax, Arena is still a good game. And maybe if you're like a PS3 owner, you can pick up Ultimate after this. But yeah, I would definitely recommend looking into Persona 4 Arena. Really, really good. All right, time for our deals of the week. Pretty short one this week. We only got two. First one's from GOG. They're having a midweek sale where they have Hitman Blood Money, Flat Out, Soma on sale for 80% off. Dead Cells is 30% off. Alwa's Legacy, 20% off. The Penumbra Collection, 80% off. Amnesia, The Dark Descent is 80% off. The Grim Legend series, 70% off. And the Hitman series is 80% off. So go ahead, check out that. And then the Windows Game Store, I should say Win Game Store, has their own sale. It's a Bandai Namco spring sale where you can get Dragon Ball Fighters for $10. Dragon Ball Xenoverse for $8. I'm sorry, Xenoverse 2, I should specify. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot for $24. Jump Force, which I'll buy this game, $15. My Hero One's Justice for $23, and Project Cars for $24. On top of many others, like Captain Tsubasa is $35. Digimon Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition is $20. A lot of really good stuff that's come out from Bandai on pretty deep sales over on Win Game Store. So some of these games aren't available on Game Pass. Most aren't. I think Jump Force might be, but most aren't. So go ahead and give them a look if you're interested on PC. With that, Carrick, we move into our final questions of the show. 5 straight from the audience, starting off with Digitaco. Hey, Super Dookie Bros. I like that name. The Series X has the SSD port on the back so that the Xbox's storage can be expanded with the same benefits of the internal SSD's read/write speeds. Do you think Microsoft will ever release expansion cards that will have even faster read/write speeds to reduce load times on the Series X without having to replace the entire console? Thank you for such an insightful Xbox-centric podcast. Carrick, what do you... I don't even think this seems possible, but...
Yeah, unless it's certainly a firmware update where like they figure out some overhead, you could get that. But I would say we're probably at the limits of whatever port they put in because they did go with a more normal port anyway. So yeah, I don't. I mean, I would see companies just fixing the way they do things, you know. And you know what they could do? This is not going to happen. But it randomly popped up in a conversation yesterday in my Discord where I was like, imagine you plug in your fucking NVMe into the back and it raids them. Do you know what RAID is? Mm-hmm. RAID is where it takes one bit of data, puts it on one drive and one bit on the other, so they both get absolute top through. And I was like, damn, what would that do? I mean, admittedly, they wouldn't do it. There's too many chances of failure, but still, like that would be the only way you would really be able to get a huge performance increase. So no, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like you could explain it in a more techie manner and rationalize it, but to me it didn't seem like it made much sense. Joel Hernandez is up next. Hey, Senoras Dukes. What's going on? I like all these creative intros. Thank you all so much. Hope you guys are having a swell day. Oh. My question is, what will it take for Game Pass on PC to support all types of controllers? I dropped the service since they don't support the Switch.
Hello. I mean, fuck you. Do you want to do DBD or we work on that stuff that you have to do on Destiny? Man, come on, man. Okay, let's do something. Brittle come and then maybe we'll do Destiny. I feel like there's actually quite a bit to do on there. And I want to do it, you know. I want to get the dopamine. So it's like I don't care about no dopamine, dude.
I'm already dope, you know what I mean.
Okay.
I'm hip, I'm cool, I'm no longer in school. I dropped it. Wait, that's not a flex.
Now what'd you get for food?
Had some croissant,
Croissant?
and I heated up a pate, and I have a iced coffee.
Yeah, boy. Dude, you were up late last night.
Yeah,
I went sleepy, dude. I was tired.
yeah, I just kept doing stuff.
Oh, dude, so when I restarted my computer, my fan was making like a weird kind of like it start up
Yeah,
and then stop. Start up and then stop.
yeah,
But like since I've been playing, it's like normal.
yeah, I
But
know.
I heard like it was like making quite a bit of noise.
I mean, mine's has done that in the past.
So next time I go over by you, you mind if like we open it up and clean it out a little bit?
I've never done that with a laptop.
You have the compressed air though, yeah?
Maybe. I have to look.
Okay. If you do, then we'll do that.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't have any compressed air.
It's not
I go to
expensive. It's like $5-10, and you get
What
like a ton.
Yeah.
I think the Apple Store should sell it. Pretty much any electronics store.
If you don't have it, then I'll get it because I only have to use it one time.
Yeah. It's getting dusty and hot. It's getting dusty in there.
Yeah. Like it's not making any sound now. I think it's good, but I think maybe like because it was running so hard by your house,
Yeah.
maybe like a piece of dust kind of like got in between some stuff,
It could be
like a
just pure
clump of dust.
coincidence that it's like, yeah, okay. You know.
Maybe. I think that like when I restarted it, it sounded pretty bad. I was actually getting kind of worried. I was like,
got
oh,
an
that's
error.
me. Yeah?
I stuck right here.
You have your VPN?
Yeah, actually, I never did that. I'm actually gonna restart my game.
Oh,
'Cause
you invite me.
I was in the main menu when I went to go get food, so it was just sitting there.
That explains it.
Ooh, Baby Billy, Baby Trapper, also Baby Teammates with that one, so that didn't bode too well.
Yeah.
Baby Pyramid
Yeah.
Head.
When we go against babies, we need to lose.
Had a Baby Clown. He didn't even get one hit, no gens popped, he quit already.
Oh.
He got upset he couldn't fucking find anyone. And then he went all the way back to the side of the spawn on the map he spawned on, which was the eye-shaped map that has like a mine.
Yeah.
fucking-
Yeah.
He went
Cold
back
Tower.
he went back to Killer Shack side. Because he spawned there. Saw Fang. Fang dropped a pellet and he just stopped moving and he just quit.
Ooh. I did some arenas. We tried some on our main characters, but the queues were taking so long because no one that high was playing that time. So we just went on our alts and we busted up some shit. Probably play like around later, maybe around your dinner time.
Yeah. We do the
I told him like, yeah, this is a good time to chill. I'm gonna go hang with some homies and come back later. Got you, man. Joe woke up and Joe's like, let's play video games. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Hey, fuck you. goes to being like.
I also didn't ask if you wanted to play anything. I just said I was in the disco.
No, I know. I go from being like super sincere, like I'm sorry, man. To fuck.
I'm like, that's not what the fuck.
The dude fucking spilled some tomato juice on his carpet,
What a dumb fuck.
and he's like, you know what? I gotta go clean it. I'm like, yeah, you should have probably. Dude, I'm like, yeah, we don't have carpets down here.
There you go.
Yeah, well, you're weird, dude. You see how dirty carpet is, dude? That's why you got a carpet.
Well, it's not that the fact that I have a carpet that it's by default dirty. It's because I have like 20 pets.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, carpets get dirty.
Yeah. Floors too.
Yeah, but you clean the floor and it's like, oh wow, brand new.
Yeah.
Carpets get dirty. It's like, oh, it's in there for a
The
while.
carpet's also really old at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Over 10 years.
Like I don't really care. I'll walk on whatever. I don't live cleanly myself.
I don't know why, but my Roombas, they're not like charging. Neither of them.
Dude, they're like, oh god, we give up.
Honestly, that's why the carpet looks so chill. I'm too lazy to actually go vacuum clean it.
Dude, I don't care as long as it's not like fucking boiling hot.
No, but it does look good. Wow. It's clean. I'm just fucking lazy.
Did you used to roll on the floor and shit as a kid?
Yeah, of course. Still do.
There you go. Aw, shit, here we go again.
So I found
give
out
me this.
something.
You go.
I found out something interesting with the streaming service thing I use, the OBS.
Yeah.
Because what I'd have to do before is open up Twitch, sign in, go to my channel, go to the thing, to adjust the name of the stream and shit, and the description and blah blah, all that shit. Found out there was a way to actually do it from OBS.
Ooh.
And it's really quick.
Oh, dude, remember that video I sent you? That shit's on YouTube, man. That's a bad ass. You see your asshole.
Here, and you love pate.
Did you check the video?
Yeah, of course. I skimmed through
Dude.
it.
You should. The asshole is even dirty.
Yeah. It's educational, Jesse. You learn it today.
It's not even like, you know, like how some of the other ones, you see like the memes of some of the other ones, like, kind of hiding it. Like, oh, there's a little nippy over here. Nope, she's just like, asshole out. Crazy shit, dude. I can't believe that's on YouTube. It's insane.
Yeah. So Tyrion's a picky eater. I think I've told you this.
Yeah.
Some fun facts about his diet that we found out. American cheese, no. Gouda cheese of any variety, yeah, one time, no hesitation. Found out recently, fucking loves Jamaican patés.
You gave him Jamaican
I
pate?
gave him like a little piece, and now like every time anyone ever makes a pate, he's like, give it to me.
Well, dude, it's ground beef, man.
No, the bread.
That's good bread.
Like he goes straight for it.
Is this wreck? How is this wreck shop?
Because the shop's in the middle. Huntress.
I ran into her.
It's okay, Jesse, I'll take the
Oh, I thought that was a pallet there.
What?
Dude, I thought that was a pallet there. It's so dark.
How's that connect? I'm getting sandbagged.
I don't know.
110%. I'm injured and the Cheryl is body blocking the window for me. Which gives the hunters more than enough time to come together. Okay. That could have just vaulted that and then just fucking joined.
So I guess they're not doing any gens.
I think I saw someone on
That's me. Are they coming for you at least?
it. I'm eating them. Oh, yeah. You're a killer shack?
Yep.
Cheryl's coming for me the other round. Is on the Nice big piece for my big boy. There you go. Boy. Also, Tyrion does not like white bread. Like wholesome or parmesan bread, don't like it. You know what he
Crash
has?
bread. Kitty.
John did.
Wait, stop. Oh. Lock it, stop. Yep, yep. We just left the safety of Killer Shack to get sniped right now. I'll tell you if she aims at us.
When does that ever happen? I can see it. Okay, I finished all my side quests, Jesse.
On what?
She's chasing the shuttle. She's probably
Yeah, I
gonna pick
see.
up now.
Dude, going back to her, yeah.
Yeah, she's
Yep. What sucks is, this is the only gen I'm pretty sure we have much work.
I know where another one is.
You go to that, I'll go do another high priority gen. I can get this one to chase me, wouldn't be.
No, she's on the field. Conveniently hanging out by the gym.
Oh, main gen has some work on it.
Yeah, Cheryl was working out. I don't know if that is. The one I'm at is directly in front of the double open door. It's past me. A little more than that.
You going back to that gen?
Fuck, I got rid of the pallet. I can't stay here now. That gen's very far.
You going back?
Yep. She sure is. Oh shit, this isn't a loop. I thought there was like an LT wall there or something.
Dude, I might start bringing windows of opportunity and shit.
Dope. I kind of have her in a weird way. I think I low-key have the killer kind of zone where she's just going back between these two generators.
Yeah, Cheryl doesn't want to heal me. Cheryl! Bitch.
I got her looping.
Here. You can do a different gen.
She's off me.
Oh yeah, these are two gens I really want to do. Look at this one.
I'm gonna try to push the middle down.
There's two gens behind the middle that are okay, right next to each other. I'll push them.
Pop one of them. He's on me. Middle of him. Yeah, not so easy. She's a goof, dude. I'm back on the gen already.
You smelling a Noed? She's screaming she got healed. Someone screamed. The new survivor screamed.
Oh, Iron Maiden probably. Middle gens are really close to done. I'm gonna aggressively push it right now.
Yep, the girl is taking her. Oh no, she's on me.
I got it. Yeah, you can
I have her on a Z wall right now, dude.
Were you by the yellow excavator?
I know. Yeah, thanks for bringing her to me. I'm gonna get in this pallet, give her fucking. She's going back to the. She's taking hatchets. She might go back to that gym.
Cheryl's on one. Oh no, she's on the one behind me.
If only that sheriff could have healed me. She's looking around here for the pallet. So he's been stuck in the pallet. Yeah, he's going back to the gym.
I get it.
He's fully recovered.
Get caught.
Kind of wiggle away.
He's rushing me. He's aiming at you. I got that hard running. Get in the. Wait, you left the pallet?
Yeah, I did.
What?
I didn't think you were gonna come get me, dude.
It's EA Sports, dude. It's in the game.
I don't know, man.
Ooh. Oh, she has BT too. Nice. Ooh, adrenaline, please. Let's go. She's probably gonna talk to me. Oh no, she's on me. Oh,
Yeah,
sweet.
she's not on me.
I got her.
I'll medkit
I
myself.
got her, Loopy. Checking the gate. I think she's trying to tell me.
Yeah?
Oh no, someone else is on me. He's fucking blind, dude.
Yeezy's at it again.
We're just fucking with her mother. Oh, she finally hit someone. Oh! I should have did that. Ooh! It's fucking, it's just sketch. I'm at the other gate already.
I think I can get her to... Is that gate 99?
Probably. Yep. Well, it's being 99. But yeah, we can go.
She's coming this way, dude.
You mother... Just wanted to...
She's going around the window. We're all here.
I'm gonna just walk behind this tower and get my fucking dead heart back.
I'm in the pallet. I'm in the pallet.
I don't have dead heart or anything.
She's picking up. She's gonna pick up.
She's not being a total threat.
She's picking up.
Yeah, I tried making that work. Oh,
We did this for her, so...
she knows she has Iron Maiden. That character knows. She's one shot right now. Why would you do that? One of the Hussies. Why are you retarded? What else could have done? Locker is no. Why are you going in a locker? They're making themselves injured.
See what we did?
Listen,
We wanted to meme Joe.
no, but here's the thing. I don't mind that I'm gonna die. I just mind that they're doing so too.
No, don't worry. This chat has been manipulated. We're getting out. No, fuck that one.
Oh, I missed this. I
I stopped doing that for a second. I thought she was gonna get me.
She wants me.
We gave that to the Huntress. So hard.
Where's the random?
Down there still, I think.
Shabby.
Yeah, she's down there.
I want to trust that. Ah! Random! You fucker. Let me meme! Let me fight.
I'm just gonna next you. I don't want to watch someone heal.
Oh, yeah, no, okay. I just wanted to see if you got that. She will. Easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
Cheesy lemons. How do we do my do-baka do?
Do boo. Shaka Zulu.
Capture cursor, get rid of that. Nobody wants to see a game cursor. Am I right?
Shaka Zulu.
You're a Shaka Zulu, Babadoku.
You put Shaka Zulu in your boo boo.
Do-baka logo. So yeah, yesterday I went on Kotaku like late at night, and I shit you not, guess what they have an article about?
Titty.
Hot tub Twitch streams.
What are they saying?
They basically, fuck, what was it? It was, I'll tell you the headline. Hot tub streams are waning,
What?
but some people still think they're destroying Twitch.
Why are they waning? No.
Yeah, Kotaku just trying to sound pretentious. But yeah, I skimmed through it, and they're basically they make the claim it's not destroying Twitch. Well, meanwhile they do say like there's like a lot of fucking people females doing this now. Like it's they're doing it in droves
Yeah.
instead of playing games on the gaming streaming platform. And they're like, it's good. It's like, okay. It's really weird. Like their argument's really weak, and they try to come off as if it's like the best ever. It's really bad.
Like, I don't care, dude. It's just
I mean,
a
I'm
little
not
fuck for like
opposed.
kids, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
It should
Like,
be
look
in the
if you're
more
watching
you should have to have like
an account.
I know kids fake ages on accounts. I mean, fucking we did it, but like you could at least throw it behind an age restriction.
Yeah,
Come on.
you just put an ad in front of it. That's all they do.
Yeah. So they can get their scratch.
Because, dude, it's majority either simps, incels, or young kids.
Yeah.
And that's the demographic. Like remember we saw like a subscriber say nice boobs. I like.
Yeah,
That's a child.
of course. And you know there was some old creepy dude in there because he said nice melons.
Yeah. No one says that.
anymore.
I think the killer's in the corn.
Death Digger, he's on it.
Okay. Doing a corn gen by killer shot. No room.
Fucking Christ, he mind gamed me. I'm getting my mileage out of this fucking thing.
Do it.
Oh, I'm not getting any more mileage! I think it's bullshit that if he shoots you through a window like that, that you're like stuck in this like soup bowl, like in front of the window. Like,
Yeah.
I should be able to pull him as well to the side and break his line of sight. You should have to time that and get the hit. You should have to work for that still.
He's gonna interrupt my gen.
Yeah, he's going for you. If you're solo. He saw you. He's already cutting you off.
Yep.
The other two are too many.
See, I love Spine Chill for this. I can tell what he's doing right now. Like he's still trying to find me. Like he cut off the dude looking for you. No, he isn't.
I'm getting healed under those.
How did that hit? Really?
He came back to the fucking hook.
Okay.
He came back, like he shot the guy just as the heal finished. Like frame perfect.
Keep running.
Shit, I was looking behind me, I didn't see anything. Okay, I see.
It's okay, it's okay. If you want to do that, Jen.
No.
Or double heal, it's fine. We have time anyway.
Not really, that guy's in a chase.
Yeah, well, we would have had time to get the heal and the gen progress. Yeah, killers that know how to loop the transfer, just keep coming. He's in the loop to our left.
I'm gonna just hang on.
Nope, he's
I
gone.
want aggro off that, David.
Yep. He's dealing with David in that loop.
He just has to shoot me now when I'm down. Big shot. I assume he went back to the...
Yep, he's back on the loop.
Is there a paladin in that loop?
Yes.
Might
It's
have-
a short wall jungle, dude. He's down with David again.
I'm willing to bet the random's on him.
Yeah.
You want to look at. If she got on when I think she did, you should pop pretty much. Don't worry, heal me. I'm coming on.
Oh, he's aiming for her.
Let's go get this David up. Nope. Okay, I think I see her, Jen. Okay, I can see what that did. It's too far.
You need to get out of
Not
here.
that much progress. Heals. Kill shot.
Get out of here, get out of here. I'll save the dude.
Okay. I'm gonna run in the basement and grab the knife.
Okay, let's heal. Let's heal. He's holding. He's holding this.
I'm in.
really.
I'm in. Yeah, he's in a good pressure point here. He's got the gen with the most progress, and he got 2 people. Here.
You go do a different gen, okay?
I can take a hook stick, so I got BT. I can get the hook. It's gonna hook to the left.
I'll start going for the other hook.
Yeah, you want. Oh fuck, you went right.
Yeah, I saw him leave.
He's fucking here already. No BT? What?
Okay, you want to heal yourself? That's fine. You might have. He's on me.
I'm walking towards the guy. I'm on the David. Picking him up. He's half done.
He's shooting the other girl.
He's coming back here. Okay, he's reloading. Oh, what? He hit him!
No, I tried to take the hit.
I'm getting right back on this, David. We're getting this boy.
I have him on the loop.
I turned, you fucker! Come on, Cheryl, get on him, get on him!
He's going back, he's going back,
Yeah, he's up! It's all fucking worth it in my eyes. Oh, that David. God damn it. Look, the David can't do anything about it. He's just working with what he's got. It's such a dead zone over there. Now, provided he's got dead hard, yeah, he can do something, but he's not. I found a gen by capturing. I'm gonna push that.
Yeah, please just push it down, dude.
I was looking for one that we did.
I'm here taking up his time. No! What the fuck? How was that not a hit?
Okay, David is up. 4th time. Let's go.
He's going back now.
Is he bringing him to me? Okay, he's looping in Killer Jack. He really wants his David.
Yeah. How far is your gen?
Just shy of half.
David just shot.
Poor David, dude. David's literally getting.
Yeah. Whoa, that hit. How did that hit?
What a time to have adrenaline, am I right?
Dude,
He's
yeah,
got
it's
curling
like
drummers, he knows I'm on this gen. I have to
both,
finish this now.
both gens are being out of
Yeah, mine's just gonna pop though.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. I went to Dairy Queen and got a banana split.
Easy.
Good.
I'm recovering now.
It's literally on the David. Okay, I can come through. It's killing the David.
Someone else is getting through. Open the gate. Open the gate. Open the gate.
This one?
Yeah.
There you go, folks.
Oh, he's off for David.
No, I don't think so. I'm gonna open
Dude,
this.
if he has DS, like David's switching.
I
Hey, we don't know yet.
kind of want to open this.
99 before you.
He's here.
Gonna run for David. So is he. Yep, he's going for David too.
We need some reverse pressure here.
about to get interrupted. Oh, David! David the boy! The lad!
The big
The
chin.
lad.
Is he just
David, I'm
running for the
body
crowd to
blocking
go?
for you. Yeah, come help body block.
Okay. I see him! Oh, she's injured too. I gotta...
Oh, he missed. He fucked up. Body blocking for everyone.
I'm prioritizing.
Ah. Ooh. We could do Destiny, bro, if you'd rather do that, bro.
I'm done with
Why am I
you.
crouched?
So? You better not throw it. None of us are there.
I got toggle crouched for like a weird reason. I don't know.
Yo.
I got a...
Yeah, he did have nurses.
You see? Yeah, boy.
What a fucking game, dude. Did David have DS? Which one was David? Which one was David?
Probably the lowest one. One of them had dead heart, so I would assume
How do
that was
I-
David. Let's see.
David was Spirity. He had DS through this whole time.
He had
He
DS,
had DS.
but he also had dead heart.
Yeah. Yeah, Spirity Spirity PTS is the David. He had DS this entire time.
Yeah. Hey, Killer's cool about it though.
Dude, he had DS.
This David was a fucking champ.
This David's just like,
He
you
had
guys doing all this
resilience
for
as
me.
well. He liked being a champ.
But those two are fucking having a blast, man.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
okay,
probably
you guys
playing
keep
together.
playing. If he picks me up, I'll DS him.
They're like, what are these two other guys doing? Just me and you.
Yeah, I'm good with this or Destiny. You have stuff on Destiny to do. This is Gucci too.
Whatever's good.
Maybe do some of
I am
this.
good with whatever. I'm ordering pizza.
Ooh,
I don't want pizza.
extra anchovies.
Nah, man. Maybe when this starts to slow down a little bit in like half an hour or so, then we go.
Half an hour? That shit don't slow down that soon.
As soon as the sun goes down.
For me,
Ready
it's
up.
more like 10:30, 11.
I mean, like slowing down
Okay.
from instant queues.
Oh,
Ready up, Britt.
we're working on it.
You still have the nightfalls and shit to do.
Yeah, but I don't think we're gonna get that in time to get the extra cipher.
Dude, a nightfall gets a lot, man.
We see. If we get it, we get it.
I'm gonna get it. I'll stay up late because I want to get that Monte Carlo for a few builds actually. I also want a different weapon for a different build. It's this kill stealing build. You can imagine. Yeah, we'll do a gamer zone this one.
You say psych.
And oop.
And I oop.
And I pooped.
Your pants.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he should have pants.
And the poop went down his thigh.
Thought he'd make it just in time, but he didn't.
I was biting one of my
From the makers
nails
of
on
the
my thumb,
Xbox and the Xbox controller,
and I pulled a little bit
comes
too much
an
out.
experience like never before.
No.
Audiences are raving. Winner of several accolades that we made up before recording this video.
What did you do that for?
Just when you
I don't
thought the
know.
world of gaming
Pizza's
was
coming
done
in 25 to
innovating,
35 minutes.
the evolution continues. Presenting the
Oh no, it's
Shit
Shelter
Button.
Woods. Push the gen. So go to a different gen.
No.
From the makers
I don't think I have a
of
choice.
Xbox and the
Motherfucker fast fall to the window.
I
Really, on this
watched
map,
it do
Joe?
Eh.
It's a trapper.
that. Yeah, he's back behind me, but he's walking away from us.
He's a nice boy.
Haha, trapper, you can't trap the roots if there aren't any.
Easy. Wait, is this Shelter?
Yeah, you fast fall to the fucking window. Goddamn degenerate.
Yeah, I did do that. I acknowledge it.
Hi, Joe.
Hello.
Did you really not trap this pallet?
I don't know what he was doing because I didn't see him setting the traps. He was just like picking up and then just really walking weird.
He's coming towards us.
He set a trap before.
And there's a whole loop that he didn't trap that he spawned by.
Oh, fakery. Oh, how'd you catch up to me? What? You bum-
That was weird.
Sorry, random. I missed this
You caught up to me real quick.
Oh my god, he's coming back
You
to
guys
me.
are doing
isn't
a corner jump. That's like a
I'll go
super
for
safe
Joe.
one. That's like, I went all the way around, saw that one, I was like, I'm gonna avoid that one. He has pop. He popped the gen being grateful.
What the fuck did you know I was here, trapper?
I'm coming. Coming.
Being kind
Oh,
of-
he had.
Joe.
Go on.
He has something. Maybe he has good ears. Did he trap here?
I don't know, because he could have caught me and he didn't even try. Wait, where's Arjun, Joe? Is it
Heal
this
Joe
one
up.
or this one?
No, I got a medkit. I'm trying to get rid of this trap. Yep, Britt, that's it.
So he did trap over there.
I guess. I mean, he was there for a while before I got there. But it looked like he was just walking around.
Jesse?
What I was trying to do was actually try and leave.
Well, you see what will happen.
Why do they keep kicking me off?
Right? Why are you gen tapping?
This is Trevor.
I wasn't. I was holding the button down and it would just stop doing it. Like I was gin tapping, but I was still holding the button down.
Yeah,
He's
this
like
Trevor's
pseudo camping
weird.
us, dude.
He's doing real fucking weird.
Oh god, he saw me. No. No, Travis, do it.
She copied as
Yeah?
I got here. He needs heal too.
He left
I see.
me. He hit me once and then just left.
Yeah, he did that with me too. He hit me and then just totally left me.
This guy is a word.
He also body blocked the killer shack window in a very weird way. As you see right there.
Maybe you don't know what he's doing.
He's on there.
He's cutting you off.
Okay, what?
You're gonna have. Are you getting the pallet or not?
No.
He has
He's
saved
going
the
for
best
someone
for
else.
last.
I have Unbreakable.
Yeah, save the best for last. Unbreakable to 99, and then let me pick you up. Save it. Yo, don't do it yourself. Save it.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up.
I know you do. You and Ricky like do that kind of shit, wasting your spell last and break.
This ain't the time. We're not in that much of a pickle. We don't get this.
No, we do not.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
He's not coming this way, I don't think.
He's gonna.
Now he is.
Random use of power.
So close. So close.
I'm just gonna trade. Oh, yeah. He has. Save the best for last.
Fuck. I
Guaranteed.
can't-
Nice. Save the best for last.
Excuse me.
My first hook. Just don't let the random die. Bert, we need you to be the gem girl with you.
Yeah, I want another gen already.
Where'd he go?
He's going towards the random on the. You can get me. You can get me. You can get me. Want me to finish your heal real quick?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'm on a gen on the other side of Killer Shack.
Oh, okay. That random's dead on hook.
Yep.
Fuck, I forgot how you lose stacks.
I need to be aggressive here, Joe, because he doesn't want to hit me. He guarantees has saved the best for last, and he's gonna go check that gen. Before you
I
get.
forgot to ask them for the special seasoning for my.
Joe, what? Hit me quick!
I was going for that quarter gen. You looped
I
it.
told you he was gonna go check the gen,
Do
dude.
you not have bomb?
I told you he was gonna go check it.
He hooked by it and he left it. And then he saw you and he did that.
I'm at like 90%. Just give me a second. I'm gonna finish this and come get you.
Yeah,
He's going.
you gotta
Run
get him.
away.
He's on me.
Yeah, he's on Joe.
Oh my god, you're running towards me. No!
Bro, you better fucking sprint burst straight to me, dude. He's on your tail, bro.
No, he's looking around the
I
gym. He's still
don't
alive.
think he
You're
is.
good. He's coming up.
Get me quick.
Basement.
Oh.
You might have. You should be okay.
Oh my god.
He'll catch me.
Alright, go get Joe. Go get Joe. Come on, chase me, Trapper.
Do you trap anywhere, Joe?
Not that I saw. He
He
looked like he's
lift. He lift. No.
I need to heal.
I don't know.
Let's just heal here. You take the window if he comes in.
Yeah. I'm assuming that window's not trapped.
He's coming.
Door. I'm rushing through it.
If he's on me. What do I have here, if anything?
There's a gen right behind me we could rush, Joe.
You're right. Don't worry with healing me, we just
A lot for me?
No.
A lot? Oh, okay.
If we get it, I get it.
I need a pallet. Paleta. Okay, that's a pallet.
We're pushing the last one. Hopefully.
Fucking. All it has are these weak ass pallet gyms. Just bring me closer.
On both sides
I have a
of
med
that,
kit on my body. I should have just stayed killer shot here.
Killer Shack wasn't strong anymore.
Yeah, but nothing's strong here.
Yeah, it's
He's on your tail.
I don't think I saw one jungle gym.
yeah, I need to take the aggro, because if you can pop that, mostly okay.
It's at like 80 probably.
There's a pallet ahead of that leap ahead. Yeah, it's nice.
Oh no.
Oh. Brit, don't pop the jump. Brit, don't pop it. Go hide.
Locker would be
If you want to hide in front of the tent. Okay, Brit, I'm gonna tell you when to change direction. Now, change direction. Don't run. Change direction.
I can't, he's coming.
No, exactly. Which
Man.
one? Go towards the middle, I guess. Try to find a hatch. I curve lost you some distance there. You have to remember, killers always run in a straight line. So when you like do like a 90-degree curve like that, they just cut you off faster.
Oh.
You want to keep like the line as straight as possible. It'd
Yeah,
be unlucky. Like it'd be pretty lucky if you found the hatch.
Yeah, it's okay. 1 second.
Yep, save the best for last.
Sheet. Oh, he had the big bag. If you got an
I don't think I saw a
attractive
single jungle gym on that map.
yeah,
I saw 4 pallet gyms, whatever.
yeah. The weak ones, that once the pallet's gone, it's fucking worthless.
Yep.
And then, yeah, Killer Shack. That was it. And some big honking tree in the middle. Yeah, if you got on a trap from him, you were boned.
Yeah.
He had dying on them.
Doing another one?
Yeah. Try to end on a better
We
note.
can do the Outer Destiny.
Okay.
Yeah, whichever's good.
I like that my shirt says GG.
Yeah. Ooh. Apparently Microsoft is rolling out an update to Windows 10 that has some of the tech that the software that they implemented into their new consoles for faster read times from storage devices. So if you have an NVMe SSD, which most people don't, you're gonna have a huge increase in performance in download read
I don't
write
think
speeds.
fix your other shit.
What?
Like these fucking runtime issues.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, apparently the update will also extend not just to storage but to graphics cards and how fast they can read and write, or not read write, but how quickly they can communicate with the rest of the PC. And apparently
Yeah.
it'll support anything, any card that had support for DirectX 12, which means it goes all the way back to like super old
while
graphics
ago.
cards. So they say from what they see, it's going to be quite a good jump in performance. You're going to notice.
Cause I put my dick in a box. Dick in a box.
PP and a square.
That SNL skit is so funny.
Put my dick in a box. Step 1.
Cut a hole in that box.
Step 2. Put your dick in that box. 3. Have her open the box. That's the way you do it,
But they got-
girl. You don't need no diamond ring. That shit don't mean anything.
Y'all are so funny.
I have terrible memory, but when it
Don't
comes to
need
dumb
no
shit,
fancy car.
I got it.
Dick in the box.
Apparently someone
Seems like I'm
else...
zoned out over there.
What?
So Jesse is like zoned out over there.
Yeah.
I'm listening. Like, come on, dick in the box.
Apparently some other guy at Blizzard quit as well. Kevin Rooker.
I don't know, dude.
Ooh.
Apparently he's working at his own game. That's cool.
Dude, a bunch of them should fucking quit.
Apparently they are.
They new blood.
They say he
That's a
was
fucking
a
problem.
senior at Blizzard, so...
Good. Get all the fucking old folks out of there.
Get him out. Get him out, man.
Get the fucking CEO out of there too. Fuck him.
Yeah. Just turn the business off.
No, turn the business into something different.
Yeah.
Get the store out of there.
Let
Make a
EA
good shit.
have the World of Warcraft license.
No.
They're really good at making MMOs and launching them. And supporting them post-launch.
Yo, Joe, you know, Destiny 2 is kind of like an MMO.
MMO Lite. It has
That's
RPG elements. And the only
That's an
part
MMO.
of an MMO that it has is the fact that it's instance-based.
Open world. Open world with instance.
The instance is the only part that makes it.
The
'Cause,
only
there are
reason
other
why
games with open worlds.
there isn't much RPG because they don't put that much into the story.
Yeah, which is... Yeah.
There's no like, you know, oh, the great famed Titan, you know. Oh god, I haven't had this map in so long.
Words.
Don't miss it.
Yeah, I see the killer already. This is fucking Steve. Big ass
That's the way we do it.
pyramid head? Yeah, pyramid head. Pyramid. Hello. He might have
Doing
stealth
off.
things.
He has rune. Someone's breaking a totem.
Oh my god, he's coming for me.
Yeah.
I'm a pen do not want.
Joe, go find a totem. I'll come do the gen.
Wait, do you want me to find the totem?
Or do the gen.
Okay, I'll look for the totem. That's gonna... Rune could be very annoying on this. sooner than
Yeah.
later. I'll check the perimeter first. He did go straight towards us. Immediately.
He left the random and beelined me after that too. He has something.
Yeah.
This is weird. There was a hook where he downed me. He carried me to a different hook.
He might
Probably
not
didn't.
have been, so
Yeah.
that happens sometimes. He found it.
I was under it though.
Yeah, it's likely they told him to then, dude.
The dead horse are off the dodge road. I think he gave up on it. I found the Steve. I found the toolbox. You he's like across the map by us.
He's on me. Hi. Oh god. No, he's on.
Say nothing.
He did. Yeah. Look, small closed-in places.
Found it.
Yeah,
where you
maybe
checked at the
that's
beginning.
time after this game.
You what?
Maybe Destiny time after this game.
Yeah, my pizza will be here in like 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
This is such a good map for him because everything's so closed off. You can't really shoot them that easily.
He's coming to run.
He is.
Oh no. Why is he? I ran right in front of him. He wouldn't chase me.
Yeah, fun.
I can get this. Put you behind the bridge. He fucking came here.
Yes, he did. Move.
He's tunneling.
Yes, he is.
Because he could have hit me. I was right next to Jesse.
I think he mistook me for you. Oh, fuck you, I'm sorry.
He's away from here.
No, he's on our trail. He's on you now.
Oh my god, really, dude. Really.
We haven't confused him. You go back, I'll take you. Dude, I'm like stuck in the room here and he goes for you still. What is this deal? Don't like
On PP. The easies are too much for him. I'm healing myself.
I was literally doing a gen in front of him. He just walked by. Ah, fuck. Ah, I go to fucking scratch my eye and the dickhead turns around. After like looking around her 3 times. Oh. He's heading towards...
Where is he? I'm dumping it.
You know, working on Jen? Bert, can you work a Jen? Oh, okay.
No, he's chasing me.
He's back up.
He left me.
Yeah, he's just gonna do this. He didn't go for the He's on Jose, there you go.
My pizza is outside.
Steve, come on. Steve. Either go for the body block or fucking heal me. Come on.
I dead hearted in place.
Steve is hanging.
Oh, okay.
Go! You have a flashlight! Go!
He's just gonna worry me.
Oh, they're calling me. Hello? Oh,
Nope. It was me.
okay. If you can put it on the table by the door, I'll grab it in just a minute. Thank you so much. You too. Bye-bye.
Dude, I just did a fucking 6-hit dead harding on the pallet.
He's behind me. He's behind me. Run. Ah! How the crap? My spine chill was solid this entire time. Jess is already in Destiny. He's like, screw this.
Dude, they have to put some kind of anti-tunneling shit in. Not CS.
Like how killers get bloodlust, survivors should get something equivalent.
Yeah. My killer's just like, yeah, I'll tunnel. Wait, they're incentivizing me to.
Yeah, they did 3 gens, and I have most of them dead on hook. I should face cam one of them now.
Yeah.
Can't find another gen. Oh god, I'm way too close.
Also, I recall you could dead hard it super fast before, right off of. Right, like off
Yeah.
of unhooking. They like nerfed it, and now you can't. It's really annoying because now I never get dead hards after unhooking someone, and it's always trades.
That killer is a bit laggy though. That's probably what happened. Like, you need someone with actually a good connection to do anything. Because the server's just like, oh, we prioritize it.
Oh god, this is a bad idea, Joe.
It's a great.
Oh dear god in heaven.
That was dumb.
Oh man. Alright, I'm done.
Over here.
It's fine. Let him hook me. I'm gonna go get my pizza. One second.
I'll be there soon.
We're dead. There should be like a built-in, like, even dude, make it like the hook is safe unless you do an action, like what they did to DS. If you heal under the hook, it's not safe anymore. But as soon as you get off a hook, then you're safe for, you know, X amount of time, as long as you stay on the hook.
What? What the fuck is that?
What happened?
I vaulted a window, and then he hits the window so as I'm leaving the window. Hatch is right there. Hatch is literally right there. I would have got Hatch. Yeah, it was literally fucking 15 feet away from me. Yeah, it's fucking right here. And ignoring me. What a champ. Reba, you good? Reba, you good? See that shit, Joseph?
Yeah, see.
Brit orders pizza and don't get a shit.
No, man, don't give no shit about it.
How could this happen to us?
Striking light. This mod's okay. All charge with light, defeating commands with melee damage and swords on. All this body to have it. Oh. Let's see how it is, Joe. Joe, do you even want to get the legendary stuff and the stasis stuff? Oh. Man, fuck